subscribe.
Looking at this, I had so many questions. Like, why are they black? How much do they cost? And what is their real purpose?
Hey guys, that's just a small price to pay. Knowing that Ben Shapiro is sleeping like a little bloodthirsty baby, dreaming of all the people he gets to kill now.
E2, Brute. Those are the last words of a great man. Now, we know that the Forum was conveniently under renovation, so Julius Caesar's at the much smaller Teatro di Pompei. There's no way this is a lone knifeman. Marcus Brutus and the Senate are involved in a massive conspiracy, so where's Judea in all this? Is Herod involved?
I don't like Jews, or colored folk, or natives, now that you mention it. I bet you like Catholics. I can't stand them neither, nor women, Fabians, socialists, homosexuals, Asians, or British.
You, sir, are truly a remarkable fella.
Drink your water.
No, I want Coke.
Drink it, you idiot!
No, water is for losers.
That's it!
Well, all the worst people are very, very excited about Lindsey Graham's death. All the worst people. But listen, whenever you talk about mortality or the passage of time, it's a big reminder that you don't have time to waste. I mean, it's still reality. And we just had a baby. That means we are super duper busy. There's no time to waste. And that's also true when it comes to your business. We all have our own time-saving hacks for everyday life. If you're a business owner, how can you save time hiring? ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter has a new feature that quickly lets
entire Patty's Pub family. At times like this, I like to quench my thirst with a delicious Wolf Cola. There's nothing like that to wash away the sorrow. You're here.
Be advised, I'm under your bed. Also, this sock that you filled up with yogurt is so yummy.
Oh, my name was Captain Kidd as I sailed, as I sailed. Oh, my name was Captain Kidd as I sailed. My name was Captain Kidd, and God's laws I did forbid, as so wickedly I did, as I sailed, so wickedly I did, as I sailed. Oh, I murdered William Moore, as I sailed, oh, I murdered William Moore, as I sailed. I laid him in his gore, not many leagues from the shore. Oh, I murdered William Moore as I sailed, I murdered William Moore as I sailed. From Spain as I sailed, oh, I spied 3 ships from Spain as I sailed. I spied 3 ships from Spain, I fired on them amain, and most of them I've slain as I sailed, and most of them I've slain.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful Friday night. We made it to the weekend and maybe some weekends for a few companies, bringing the heat, ice cold heat. We got Sig Sauer, Mr. Cohen in the corner, rubbing his hand as he launches a brand new credit card. Yeah, 6-hour credit card. Very on the nose, Mr. Cohen. We've got AUGs allegedly getting shipped. We've got Canik machine guns, Canik anti-air weapons, Canik air-to-air defenses. We've got, listen, Canik's taking over, okay? Keltec is teasing us. We've got some new novel products. Leopold's like, you know what? We haven't made a good red dot in ever. So we're going to drop a $900 red dot sight for you wonderful people to enjoy. All 12 of you out there are going to be very, very excited about it. And then you know what? That wasn't the only thing. Then another company, Smith & Wesson, was like, you know what? Why should Leopold be the only one to release a terrible optic? What if we collabed with a terrible optics manufacturer to combo the best-selling pistol of all time with the worst optic of all time? We'll see how that pans out for them. Bold moves. We also have suppressor companies going back and forth for the Battle of the Gay. They're gaying it out in the Gay Man of the Hill edition, and we'll see who comes out on top. Whoever does survive, I know that the rest of us will be rather upset that they have. We have some Pro 2A wins and then a selection of funny rage bait for you. And not even rage bait. Some of it's just making fun of people, which is always fun. So hope you all are doing quite well out there. First thing I suppose that we should talk about, well, actually, before we get to that, I'll show myself a little bit, okay? Because I never talk about this channel ever, and I realize that people complain that John doesn't make videos anymore or whatever like this. Like, listen, okay, on the Gun.Deals channel, which is a channel on YouTube, I've put out 4 videos in the last 2 weeks where I don't even talk politics. I don't talk anything silly, wacky, or drama. I just make videos, okay? So if you want to see some really silly products, videos, reviews, generic stuff, I'm going to drop the link for the video that I put out today on the Randy-approved Siley Bull Pro, which, spoiler, is not very good. Not a very good optic, but you can go check them all out over on the Gun.Deals channel. Check out the videos, subscribe to the channel, yada, 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 shill. Anyways, moving on. Now, this was a little post that Trump put out today, and I thought this was going to be like something else, because when I started reading it, I got excited for a second. And then it turns out that no, he's talking about the weather. So he says, pulling up to the tab, the United States is being unnecessarily invaded by filthy, polluted, unhealthy air. I thought you were going to talk about Indians for a second. I was getting really excited there that Donald Trump has finally started to adopt my language when it comes to ethnics, you know? Filthy, invasion, polluted, unhealthy. I'm like, oh, let's go. But no, he's just talking about literal retarded Canadian firefighters that happen to be women, happen to be incompetent, probably shouldn't have been let out of the kitchen, who are now polluting my American air. Thanks, Canada. You should be the 51st state, and you should probably be reduced to ash. And then we'll rebuild a new empire on top of it. But speaking about something else, okay. Titus Arms, he was on the channel on Wednesday for a great stream, came on, addressed the haters, did pretty good, okay? Now, he said, I can't show it to you guys because I don't want to dox the guy that he's shipping the parts to, but I have received confirmation, receipts, tracking numbers that are operating within the UPS system. They should be delivered really soon. That yes, Corbin Titus of Titus Arms, the Nylog guy, has indeed shipped the 2 AUG build kits that were sitting in his office for a year. So the customer will eventually have those 2 Nylogs, and I hope that resolves the situation. And I hope that going forward, we never have to talk about 3D printing, bullpups, Augtis, any of that stuff ever again. But just happy ending. The customer is getting his product a year late, but still getting his product. So at least a slight happy ending. Now, we have Keltec. I kind of like this, okay? I'm not going to lie. Keltec, like, when they're not spending money on cocaine, when they're not, you know, building weapons out of melted down fidget spinners, right? When they're not adding fidget spinners to their weapons, at least their marketing is pretty good. They're spending their budget in all the right ways, I guess. So they decided, you know what? It's a really boring market out there. We're going to release a new product. Now, I have no idea what it is, of course, but they're teasing something new, and they decided to do it in this way. You know, it's like, again, it's always the meme that pops up. They're in the boardroom and they're like, oh, I've got a great idea for an advertisement. We're going to go to the beach where it's going to be like an 80s alien invasion movie. And then the one guy says, oh, how will this help us sell rifles? The guy's like, rifles? That's just a cool idea for a skit, guys.
Is that a satellite? That's not a satellite, man. What the hell is that thing? You ever used one of these before? What is this?
So, I mean, listen, okay, as far as gun advertisements go, as far as gun teaser hype trailer videos go, it's pretty good. It's clean. It's simple. It does the thing. Yeah, it's cheesy. Yeah, it's a little over the top, but at least it's not overly dramatic, right? Because that's usually what you get. You get one of two things. Usually it's like, it's so over dramatic. It's like, listen, you're, dropping a light and it's like, epic thriller, hype music and, operators operating operationally and all this other stuff going on. Whereas Celtic is like, listen, we're just going to make up a little skit here and it's going to be a alien invasion thingamajig monster. And we're going to take it down with what looks to be a pistol. Okay. That's something. Okay. Fair enough. Triple their budget for cocaine, by the way.
Is that a satellite? That's not a satellite, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's so small. It's got to be a pistol. Now, a Keltec bolt action pistol would be hilarious. Although, ironically, how funny would it be if Keltec was like, no, we're making a serious duty gun, and it's actually just like a really standard striker-fired polymer-framed handgun aimed at like a serious use market? Like, how funny would that be if Keltec's like, wacky for Keltec is making a normal handgun? Although, there's also a good chance that it could be literally anything else. Titus Arms in chat, not helping himself out here with the autism allegation, says, actually, I EDC a PR-57 with a red dot. My previous was a Ruger 5.7. I'm 6'5", so I could get away with with carrying something so large. 6'5" is rather large. Okay, all right. Definitely not overcompensating. Jeez.
What the hell is that thing? You ever used one of these before? What is this?
Now, maybe it's something like a new 5.7 handgun, or maybe it's something like a double stack or a quad stack or something silly, like the PMR 30, but now in 5.7, basically. There could be some wacky things. It is Keltec. I wouldn't put anything past them as far as making something new and interesting goes. And the comments seem to be, relatively positive. Now, again, this is a teaser, which is so funny that we do teasers for launches now in the gun industry, right? It's like the gun industry tries to be the entertainment industry. It's like product launches are like movie launches, right? So you have your big marketing push, you got your trailers, you got all the other reactions, you got some of the early releases that they put out for certain people and all this other stuff. It's basically like they're just copy and pasting from the entertainment industry, however you allegedly sell firearms. So that's Keltec doing something cool. Now, ironically, maybe more interesting somehow is Canik is unveiling their I don't even know where to begin. Some pretty cool hardware. Okay, so air superiority in Canik goes hand in hand, as we all know. Begins with ultimate firepower. Unlike the conventional 50 cal heavy machine guns, the Canik M3 Falcon features an open bolt design. I need an open bolt 50 cal machine gun. Open bolt design engineered specifically for aerial platforms. Delivering 1,200 rounds per minute, it provides the sustained firepower and reliability demanded by rotor wing operations. Seamlessly integrated with the Falcon Flex 50 flexible mount, it offers rapid installation, exceptional stability, and unrestricted field of fire, transforming helicopter door gun capability into a mission-ready solution. So listen, I'm not sure when this will be coming to the U.S. market. I'm expecting a Q4 release maybe of 2026. Probably not, unless you're some really, really cool department somewhere or a 3-letter agency. But hey, you've Turkish quality firearms and door-mounted 50 cals. They go hand in hand. See, Canik took the other approach, right? Keltec, let's do something a little silly, a little wacky. We'll play it off like it's an 80s skit, alien invasion, low budget Neil Breen film. And then Canik is like, no, we're serious. We're the serious company. We got the epic rock music. Okay. You're going to be putting this on. You're going to be mowing down so many civilians with these bad boys. Okay. We're going to make the Armenian genocide look like nothing. Okay. Again, not something I expected from Canik, but 2026 has already been a weird year. Real Despop says, how do we order? This is not a joke. I want to buy one. I would also buy one. People laughing. This is coming to American civilians, right? Need a suppressor. I know a guy. This mounted to my Forerunner. True. Bet it's got a great trigger. Top Shot Dustin. Very funny. Brownell says, we'll take two. It is funny, you know, Canik, you don't think of them as a very serious company in the US market because what are they known for, right? Cheap pistols that mostly work, right? That is Canik's reputation in a nutshell in the American civilian market. Cheap pistols that mostly work. Sometimes they're good. Now, can you buy that as an individual? I doubt it. But listen, okay, if one could acquire such a device from Canik, you know, it would be affordable compared to other options. Now, do I trust? It's like, I barely trust Canik handguns, and I've shot like 30,000 rounds through my two rivals. I don't know how much more I trust their manufacturing and quality control on a 50 cal that shoots 1,200 rounds a minute. You know, it's just a little different. Little different design there. Okay. Well, we have another update. Just a bunch of small stories to start out the stream, but we're keeping it moving. UO Arms and their NT7. It has officially launched. It's out. It's real. You can acquire one with a acquisition point of 3,800 credits. So this is their MP7 clone that they bought the parts and design from Tommy Built's T7 and said, you know what, we can actually make this thing good. Maybe. However, again, the asking price is 3,800 credits. Now, as far as we're aware, the HK SP7, which should be coming in, well, maybe not this year because of the new import restrictions, or their export restrictions, I should say. We know that the H&K SP7 should be coming in between 2.5 and 3.5K for the real H&K SP7. So the knockoff NT7 being more expensive, again, 3,800 credits, is actually insane. Now, keep in mind that, yes, these are in 4.6x30, not the 5.7 that some people want. Really, they only want that because the ammo is cheaper, easier to find, yada, yada, yada. However, I don't think people are going to be shooting these very much. I don't think people who are willing to drop $4,000 on a novelty really care that much about ammo prices, you know, or shooting all that much, right? These aren't for hard use operators, so to speak. And even if you are in a department or a division that is able to get real H&K MP7s, you probably don't like those very much anyways. In fact, we just had another story from Linden's where a bunch of MP7s went down because the welds on the bolt carriers that hold in all the tungsten powder to stop, you know, bolt bounce and whatnot, the welds on all of their bolt carriers had come off. And so they were just leaking tungsten powder inside of the operating system, which doesn't help them, by the way. In case you're wondering, a broken welds plus tungsten dust everywhere inside your operating system doesn't work very well. So again, the real MP7 is probably not that great. A knockoff, which has, you know, Tommy's horrible reputation at this point in time. It is funny to think about like a decade ago when Garantham was making his Tommy Built G36 videos that he had a relatively good reputation and people were interested in his products. You fast forward a decade and Tommy's name is literally mud in the gun industry. And again, this is still using his design and his prints and all that other stuff, hopefully with better manufacturing, but $4,000, just under $4,000, 3,800 credits, which is basically exactly what we thought it was going to be. Like 2 weeks ago when we first talked about it, we thought it was going to be just under 4K. Now, speaking of things that are just under 4K, or in some of your guys' cases, under 600, that would be the SIG credit card, which is a novel decision, I suppose, when it comes to making money and how to extract as much money from people as possible. It's an interesting venture, and a little on the nose for Mr. Ron Cohen, but actually might make them a lot more money than some of their other ventures. They're partnering with Visa for their exclusive invitation only SIG card, which, listen, you have got to be a hardcore SIGger if you're like, no, I need a SIG credit card to go with my suite of P320 X5 Legions and 226 blah blah blahs and all the other special editions that they come out with, and of course my rose gold 365. Don't forget that. But you got to be a real hardcore SIGger for this to be an attractive option for you, right? And ironically, it's probably a good business move too, because you're going to get sales, you're going to offer them, cash back or discounts or points or whatever it's going to be on all of their SIG purchases. So again, if you're somebody who spends a lot of money at SIG, maybe this is actually a good option for you. But be one of the first to carry the new SIG Visa card. Ironically, I wonder if the credit card also, just randomly spends money when you don't want it to, just kind of like the P320 goes off when you don't want it to. I wonder if maybe there's a little bit of cooperation going on there. As a Sig Sauer Legion member, dude, people with Legion tattoos, Sig Sauer Legion tattoos, we should probably round them up and put them into some sort of camps where they can concentrate in. As a Sig Sauer Legion member, you are receiving this invite-only opportunity to be one of the first to carry the new SIG Visa card that rewards you on what you buy most. This is very Goyim coded here, okay? Very, very Goyim coded. Listen, all right, I get it for Sig Sauer. You're trying to expand all of your horizons as far as money-making opportunities go. This is why Cabela's and Shields and all of the big box stores, they all have their own in-house credit card. And by in-house, I just mean in partnership with one of the big credit companies, right? Because one, it's going to incentivize you to buy more from them, directly from them, where their margins are the highest. And two, of course, there's probably some sort of kickback or rewards between the actual credit loaner and the company itself. So there's some deal between Visa or, again, whichever company that they're going through and SIG to take more of their customers' money, which makes sense. Okay, so this is a way to increase your revenue streams without really increasing costs at all, right? What does this cost SIG to do? Almost nothing outside of maybe some discounts, but they'll probably make that back in terms of interest charges and other charges. So it is a big win, and that's why you think some of these cards that you even think are a really great deal, because it's sign up for our card and get $500 off. It's oh wow, that's amazing. But these guys know in the long run that you're going to spend way more than that. So it's a worthwhile upfront investment on the side of the company to get you into their ecosystem. And then the credit card companies love it because, of course, they're just going to milk that credit for, years and years, basically the rest of your life. And they're going to make, zillions of dollars, right? They'll always come out on top in these sorts of situations. So I don't know, guys. Are you guys excited about the SIG credit card? As reliable as the P320, maybe even more reliable than the P320, though that is hard considering that gun goes off 100.1% of the times. Boatface says, will my 320 still shoot me? No. Well, actually, yes, it probably still will, because it probably doesn't care very much about this. But yeah, here is Mr. Cohen. He is taking SIG in a new direction. Ironically, a direction that will probably make them lots of money, and is probably a good move. I don't think gun guys are excited about it, but again, if you're a SIGger, might be your thing. Now, speaking about actual gun things, okay, I had a kind gentleman send me this because I thought this was actually really cool. So I went and I bought one. Now, some of you guys who may not have been around for very long may not know this, but my favorite rifle of all time is the Bushmaster ACR, Magpul, Masada, Remington Defense, whatever you want to call it, okay, whatever name it goes by. Not only is it nostalgic for me, I like the looks, there's lots of things about it. I recognize it's a terrible rifle. But one thing that it actually does do extremely well is the controls. The controls of the Bushmaster ACR, they're ambidextrous, they're easy to use, even if you got really tiny hands like I do, okay? I was out shooting the Geissele Mod 1A yesterday. It's full ambi. While the ambi controls work well enough, I realized that my fingers are still just a little bit too small, right? Story of my life, just a little bit too small to get the job done. But fair enough. So there is this company, USMGM. I believe they're based out of Washington State, where I used to live, but they make a very specific lower receiver with, again, ACR controls. So it is a little bit expensive. I'll kind of save that for just a minute. But you have your ambi, bolt lock, bolt catch on the bottom. So you press down to drop, you press up to hold, yada, yada, yada. Pretty simple, right? You guys understand how it works. That is identical to the Bushmaster ACR. I quite like it. They look relatively nice. They have the third position, etched on there for you guys who like that sort of thing. I'm sure it's just a relatively quality lower receiver with, again, the special bolt release and bolt catch. Now, the actual catch is that the product itself is 350 bones. I did buy one. It's 350 bones for a stripped lower receiver. So it's pretty expensive. It's probably way too expensive. But for me, for a novelty, somebody who thinks that this control schema is the best, I'm going to go ahead and give it a go. I'll put in, whatever trigger system on whatever lower I want, and probably use this, probably SBR this lower at some point too, so I can just use it on everything. And again, other than the ambi controls, it looks fairly mil-spec. It does have a really, beveled magazine well, which is like, okay, nice, fair enough. That's what you'd like to see for the cost. The controls are really simple, out of the way. It doesn't mess with anything else. It's not going to hamper compatibility with anything. And again, if you're a small-handed fiend like myself, the controls are just really hard to beat. You don't need to reach anywhere weird up in here to get the bolt to lock back or to drop it. It's just where your finger already is. Because again, if you're doing reloads or you're doing anything, usually your finger's out of the trigger guard and relatively straight. Now, some of you guys, it might be a little harder to be relatively straight, but you get the point, okay? The controls are exactly where they should be, and they are perfectly mirrored on either side. So, reading a little bit about it, engineered as the pinnacle of lower receiver design, the MG15E Enhanced refines AR-15 controls with its unique and intuitive, fully ambidextrous design. I mean, it's just literally copying the ACR from 2008. Featuring the patent-pending Saber system, this receiver stands as a landmark innovation in the AR-15 family. Again, it's what the ACR did nearly 2 decades ago, featuring a clean design that prioritizes duty over display. I also do like the minimalistic look of it. While it might be a billet receiver, it just looks relatively mil-spec, which is nice. Doesn't have really ugly etching everywhere and really crazy harsh lines and skeletonized, all the other wacky things that people do. So the Saber is increases reload, remediation speed, and enhances safety. Well, I mean, it's just better controls. That's it. Rounded edges, we all like that. Each receiver is 70-75, of course, and I believe it's billet. I could be wrong about that, but I believe these do start live as billet. Again, the only downside that I see, I should have it in the middle of next week, so expect to see some footage or pictures of it in like 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, but I should have it middle of next week, which is cool. Okay, I'm a sucker for these controls, so when I saw that something you can actually buy and get, it looks relatively nice enough. It's too expensive. I mean, any way you look at it, what does this do that a standard $50 lower receiver does, right? Almost nothing. It's like your lock back is a little easier to do. Your bolt drop's a little bit easier. It's relatively nice. Is it worth 7x the cost? Probably not, guys, right? Probably not. Although it is true, I wonder how it compares to other ambi lowers. Let me see. What does a Griffin Mark II lower go for? And then the ADM ambi lower. Because I actually don't buy that many ambi lowers. I do have a couple of PDQs, and I've kind of, hacked out a couple of lower receivers that have a PDQ, which I don't mind. So like an ADM stripped lower is 400. Okay, well, never mind. This is kind of a deal then. I didn't realize an ADM stripped lower was $420 or 420 credits. Sorry. Okay, that's really expensive. What does a Griffin Mark II go for? $220. Okay, so a Griffin Mark II, that's actually a good deal. $220 for a stripped lower. That's way better. But Again, I like this style of control a little bit more. So anywhere between $200 and $300 seems like a going rate for a good ambient lower receiver. Is it worth it? Probably not to most of you. Probably not. PDQ does do the same thing, but I have to, Dremel out my lower receiver to fit the PDQ. And again, the PDQ is actually up here, right? And so depending on what dust cover you have, it may actually like impede the function of the PDQ. And so in my experience, my PDQs are a little bit more finicky, and I've had to do some wacky machining on them to actually fit and function. Whereas these are just completely out of the way down below where I personally prefer them. All right. Now, speaking of other wacky things, guys, Leopold, after like 10 years out of the game, probably not 10 years, probably like 6 years out of the game in terms of red dots, they decided to bring the, I would say loved, but that's probably not the right term, the put up with LCO. And now they have the LCO Pro F2, I want to say. And it looks very similar to the old LCO. Now, if you're not familiar with the old LCO, it suffered from a couple of things. It was kind of expensive. It had a really bad refresh rate and really terrible battery life. So it was like EOTech battery life mixed with Vortex, like old Vortex red dot quality in terms of like you can visibly see the emitter flashing, like however many times a second it is. And it's like, this is really distractingly bad. Like, this is very poor quality. This is rather bad. Now they have come out with a brand new version of it, and I'll cut to the chase here. MSRP is 900 bones, 900 credits, which puts it up against, the top echelon, the top tier of other red dots. Now, maybe there's a reason why you might be interested in this over those, but let's listen to the man himself, shall we?
Nick from Loophole, and this is the new LCO Pro F2 red dot sight. Built for shooters and professionals who demand the best, the LCO Pro F2.
This is not a holographic. Holographics are EOTechs, and that's it. Well, and the Vortex AMG Huey, but we don't talk about those. And then you have like the Infotech OWS 32 if you want one of the new waveforms. This is a much more traditional red dot, a la the 8T AMR, which is essentially what this is directly competing with for $300 more.
Combines exceptional optical clarity, rugged reliability, and purpose-built features in a full-size red.
Also, just a pet peeve, guys, but as somebody who does in-scope footage, like if you actually look at where his bullets are when he's shooting, he's like barely hitting the edge of the target. Now, I get that it's hard to aim with a red dot or a camera mounted behind the red dot, right? Because you're not actually, spoiler alert, you're not actually looking through the red dot when you film like this. But what you do is you cheat. And you either have a second aiming solution or you have a Viz laser that you're actually aiming with, right? So you cheat. You don't actually use the red dot when you're filming the red dot. But it helps in your promotional material if you're actually hitting the targets.
It combines exceptional optical clarity, rugged reliability, and purpose-built features in a full-size red dot designed specifically for carbineers. At the heart of this red dot is our professional-grade red dot optical system, featuring a premium aspheric lens that delivers a crystal-clear image without distortion. This unit is a true one-power optic with a unique housing design that maximizes sight picture, providing a wide field of view.
Now, they always say this, like, it helps you get on target faster, it helps you acquire the dot faster. Nah, not really. Dots really don't do that, but it really doesn't matter. The window size, really your index and your actual physical mechanical speed is the only thing that's going to help you, like, find the dot faster, whatever that happens to mean, right? Buzzword. True.
And quicker target acquisition. The aluminum housing was redesigned from the ground up.
Now, this is the one area where you guys might, for meta reasons, like it more than you would other similarly performing red dots. And that's the fact that it's Leopold and it's made in the USA, right? basically start to finish. The housing, the glass, almost everything. The only thing that probably is sourced from either Germany or China is going to be the actual LED itself, because those crystals, again, according to Primary Arms, are only made in 2 places in the world. One of them is Germany and the other one is China. So depending on, you know, what your thoughts are on overseas manufactured optics, the fact that the LCO Pro F2, which is a retarded name, but we're talking about Leupold here, the fact that it's mostly made in America might be a major selling point for you.
Its new shape protects the recessed lens from rain and helps reduce glare. So whether you're moving through a stage, working from an unconventional shooting position.
Also, I couldn't tell, not because they all look the same, but there's a certain black man in this video, and I was like, is that Colin Noir? Is that Colin? I honestly couldn't tell if it was him or not. Like, is that Colin? It looks like Colin, but I can't tell, so I can't say that that's Colin. Otherwise, you know, it'll be problematic. Okay, if I say, "Hey, look, it's Colin," and it's not actually him. Yeah.
Or responding under pressure, the optic was designed for you to find the dot faster and stay focused longer.
Also, like, I get that, like, they have different people, but if you go watch the video, unfortunately, I have to blur it for YouTube purposes, of course, so we get 8-bit rain footage here. But some of it's just bad. I'm like, I wouldn't put this in one of my videos, right? That's like showing a product, and I'm just like a retard. You're the company trying to sell a product. Like, I wouldn't use this footage. You don't have any other footage. This is the footage that you're using, is people like walking really weird and shooting, or just standing in the middle of the field. Like, whoever you paid to make this video, you probably paid them way too much.
Working from an unconventional shooting position or responding under pressure, the optic was
like this video of just them standing in the middle shooting in 2 different directions. I'm like, I was watching it and they're just like looking around like really awkwardly. I'm like, is this supposed to be tactical? Is this supposed to be competition? It just looks weird. Like, framing is off. It's all off.
Designed for you to find the dot faster and stay focused.
This guy walking really weird and shooting.
Waterproof to 66 feet and brutally tested. This ultra rugged red dot is ready for whatever comes its way. With the LCO Pro F2, you can choose from 4 selectable reticles.
Now, this is the thing, okay? When I heard that you had 4 different reticles, I was like, oh, cool. Maybe they're getting with the times and they're adding some sort of BDC style reticle or distance reticle or something in there to give the red dot a little bit more flexibility when paired with a magnifier. Keep in mind, Leupold is the same company that made the Devo, right? Which was like a 6x prism with the top LCO, right? The Devo, which was kind of a cool concept. Okay, they should bring that back, just make it better. But they should bring the Devo back, not this. Because this is like 4 different reticles. Spoiler alert, they're all the same thing.
Clean and simple 1 MOA dot, a dot with compass points, a standard circle dot, or a circle dot with compass points.
It's like you didn't give me any additional usability there. You gave me the, you know, the patented donut of death, or the donut of death with hash marks, or the donut of death without hash marks, but you have the circle still, or just the 2 MOA dot. Spoiler alert, the only reticle option that anyone who's serious will use is just the dot. That's it. Just the dot.
The new rapid illumination dial allows you to move through all the brightness settings with a quick turn in either direction, making it easy to rapidly dial in your illumination when operating in dynamic lighting conditions. Choose from 20.
So what is nice about it, I think he's just about to say it actually, I cut him off, is it does have 20 daylight settings and 10 night vision settings. So ironically, all of the new companies are doing EOTech better than EOTech is doing now, which is very funny that EOTech has gone away from their 30 light settings. And now other companies are starting to be like, actually, that's a really good idea. You know, giving our end users a lot of variability when it comes to different lighting environments, especially for night vision users, especially for professional users. And EOTech is inversely like regressing while all the other companies are copying what they did from like 5 years ago.
With a quick turn in either direction, making it easy to rapidly dial in your illumination when operating in dynamic lighting conditions. Choose from 20 daylight brightness settings and 10 dedicated night vision settings that ensure performance in any environment. To help prolong battery life, motion sensor technology automatically powers down the optic after 5 minutes of inactivity and reactivates the optic the instant movement is detected. There's also a lockout mode that...
Now, I will say, it is very, very funny that in 2026, we have 2 out of the big 4, I want to say. The big 4 to me are Trijicon, Aimpoint, EOTech, and Leopold. The big 4 like stand-ins for the industry for the last like 2 decades at this point, the big 4. In 2026, 2 of them have discovered auto on, auto off technology. Okay, Holosun was doing this in 2016, but for the giants of the industry, again, Holosun, Aimpoint, Trijicon, and Leopold, only 2 of them in 2026 have discovered auto on, auto off. It's crazy. Now I know that there are some like Trijicon pistol dots that have auto on, auto off, but it is funny that that is somehow a like selling point in the big 2.6.
Prevents your setup from changing settings unintentionally, keeping your preferred settings exactly where you set them. At the end of the day, the LCO Pro F2 delivers superior optical performance, rapid target acquisition, and ultra-rugged reliability. It provides the technology and the confidence that elite shooters and professionals depend on. Designed, machined, and assembled right here in our factory, this high-performance optic is waterproof, fog-proof, and guaranteed for life. To learn more about the LCO Pro F2, visit Leupold.com.
Well, fine. I'll do that then. Thank you. I appreciate that. Taskforce says, what's the point of auto on, to be honest? Well, if you have limited battery life, I get the argument, you know, like on an EOTech, it makes the most sense because you only have like 1,000 hours total runtime. Whereas on a dot that has like 50,000 hours of life, unless it's, well, in most scenarios, yeah, you can just leave it on. Just leave it on, replace the battery every 6 months or a year, and you should be good. That's my opinion, personally. Okay. The Leopold Pro F2, LCO Pro F2. Distortion-free edge-to-edge with their aspheric lenses. That's good. 20 daylight settings, 10 night vision settings. Now, I think Luke was saying in chat that the faster you spin the dial is the faster or the farther it adjusts the brightness one way or the other. That's a novel design. So if you spin it really fast, it's going to go up to max. If you spin it down really fast, it's going to go down into night vision modes. That's novel, I suppose. 1x magnification. Yeah, I should hope so. Durable design. I mean, it looks fine. So their motion sensor technology. Now, I think Holosun has auto on, auto off patented. So everybody has to call it something else, which is super funny. So I think Primary Arms is auto live. Swamp Fox has Shake Awake. These guys have motion sensor technology. Everybody has to call it something else, which is very funny. 4 selectable reticles. Again, basically all the same thing. Not that that's really that much of a problem, but if you're going to add multiple reticles, give them a BDC or something to give you a little bit of an additional capability when adding the magnifier behind it. Unmatched light transmission. Now, I hope that's true. Again, for a premier American red dot, you want it to have really good light transmission. You want it to have really good night vision performance. If you're pairing it with 10 night vision settings, it's got to be good. It's got to be very good for, again, 900 bones. Extreme climate, blah, 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 waterproof, impact tested. Yeah. Let's see. Now, what about the weight? Tell me how heavy it is, please. Let's see. Yeah, I see all that. Specs. Let's see. Battery is a CR123A mounted transversely, I believe. It should be fine. 65 MOA outer circle, 9.6 ounces, which is actually, it's not terrible, okay? Because keep in mind, this is a big optic, a rather large optic. And for red dots, 9.6 ounces is roughly EOTech territory. It's a little lighter than the Romeo 8T. It's about the same as the 8T AMR. Let's see. It's probably about the same as the Ames Max. You know, it has the Leopold name. It's made in America. For some of you guys, that is going to be a selling point. I don't really think that this is going to be a super commercially successful optic in terms of the civilian market, right? But I think that this could do quite well in contract sales, right? where people don't care about buying, aim points or EOTechs or whatever else it might be. I think it's going to compete very well with those, because I guarantee you what we're buying for, let's say, $800 on the retail side, LEO and military contracts are probably going to be in the 400 to 500 credit range, right? Or if they have one of their, I don't know if Leopold is the one that has the really good veterans discount where it's like 30% off. So you'll probably be seeing these in like the mid 5s, mid 6s, right? With certain discounts. So I think, again, commercially, probably not going to do that well. Probably be okay. I'm sure you'll see them pop up here and there. I don't think it's going to dominate the market in the same way that like HoloSun or some of the other manufacturers have started to do, where you go to like a rifle match and you see 20 of the same type of optics and you're like, oh, well, that one there's kind of doing the thing, I guess. This one will be around. It'll get some contract sales. It'll do well in the professional side of things. Civilian market, it's not that exciting, right? For me, if I'm going to be spending 900 bones or like even let's say 800 bones on a red dot, it's got to do something wacky and new. It's like I already have an AT. I already have an AT AMR. I've got AIMs. I've got AIMs Maxes. I've got all these other optics that do the same thing. So if I'm not buying it solely for a review, like I can't really be bothered to invest that much money in so little difference in terms of actual performance, right? Conkin says one could say the civilian market has the meta figured out. Yeah, and I don't think that people really need this big of an optic anymore. Like the one thing that I love about the standard AIMs is that it just does all the things. Like it's got a 1" by 1.1" window. It's a big window. It's got small bezels. It's lightweight. It's like 5 ounces. And you can get the standard versions for like 300 credits. It's a really good optic. It's got good night vision performance. It rivals optics 2 and 3 times its cost. It's like, it's really hard to beat in terms of all the things, form factor, mount, performance, all the things. The only thing you don't like about it is that it's made in China, right? By a company that, whether you like it or not, is going to be funneling some of those resources to the CCP, just even through taxes and stuff like that, right? So ARO Evo, really good. If you already have a T2, no reason to upgrade until that thing dies in 20 years from now. Is the AIMS Pro worth it over the Core? I personally don't think so, because I don't use the solar and I don't have the, I don't care about the extra reticles, right? So I think mine is the 2 MOA Gold. That's perfect. Perfect. Does all the things I want it to do. So will the LCO Pro work well? I'm sure it will. Does it have interesting features? Like, I guess the, modular adjustment knob is kind of cool. People like rotary dials rather than buttons. That's fine. The multi-reticles doesn't do anything for me because they're all the same. The fact that it's American made is nice, but I'm not going to, spend $800 to $900 because it's nice. Who is this for? It's for professionals or people with a lot of money. Dentists. Okay. Like it's the same crowd that if you're spending like $3,000 to $4,000 on your rifle of choice, whether it's a Mark 1, whether it's the KS3, whether it's a Mod 1A, whether it's a V7 or whatever else it might be, you don't really care, right? If you're the type of guy who's already buying an ATACR, which is like a 2,000 plus, credit LPVO, what's $800 on a red dot? To some people, they look at this, especially high-end glass guys who don't buy a lot of red dots, right? If they're an LPVO or an MPVO shooter, like in the high-end scene, $800 is really cheap, right? They don't really care about this. So it's people in a different price bracket than me, and probably most of you guys as well, I would imagine. Carver says that he'll buy it with his SIG credit card. I actually think they add more money if you buy a competitor's product with the SIG credit card. How funny would that be? They're like, hey, if you use this at one of our competitors' store, we actually charge you an additional 10% interest, which would be very Semitic coded. Central Sands Defense is one of the 4 people running a Vortex Huey. It's fine. There's a few of those guys running around. Technically a holographic. So, it's a little different than just a standard red dot. Again, I don't think it's bad by any means. If people have it and they like it and they're excited for the LC Pro 2, F2, like that's fine. You can be excited that an American company is bringing back one of their old flagships that used to be really bad and improving it. But to me, it's like dots are just dots at this point in time. As long as it works, as long as it holds 0, the glare isn't bad, the window size is good enough, and it's not overly obstructive, like I don't really care. I can't be I can't be bothered with this sort of stuff. All right. Speaking of stuff that I can be bothered with, okay, we're mixing it up a little bit. We've got Smith & Wesson up after this, but we've got to talk about Shark Toast Tactical and the suppressor drama that they are stirring up, okay? They're stirring up the drama. I'm just covering it here. I am an innocent third party. I have not called Jay at Pew Science Jew Science for a year at this point. That has not been me. That is somebody else impersonating me who looks exactly like me, sounds like me, but it's not me. So this is just me being a third party, okay? I'm third partying these guys. We've got Shark Toast Tactical, Exigent Defense, Ridgeback. Isn't that the other one? I forget the suppressor names at this point. I know they're like sister companies or something like that. Anyways, we've got them talking smack on Otter Creek Labs. We've got Otter Creek Labs responding. And then we've got Exigent and Shark Toast and all those guys talking crap about Pew Science. Jay over at Pew Science, who is the king of the Redditards. So it's a big, just everything's coming together. Everything's coming together to allow for an enjoyable viewing experience for all of us. I guarantee you. Or maybe not. I'm not sure.
Great suppressor controversy of summer 2026 going for you.
Fucking awesome, dude. Sales are surging right now. I've got a whole email inbox when I get back into Kentucky of orders that I got to fill.
From dealers, direct.
Dealer, website, yeah, everything.
So this extra play from Pew Science and from Otter Dump actually helped your business instead of hurting it.
Now, a little bit of backstory here. So Jay over at Pew Science cut open the Exigent Defense Fire Team and the Rhodey 6 from Ridgeback Defense, and basically came to the conclusion that, hey, these are both just cat cans utilizing their surge bypass. Because they all look pretty similar, right? They're using the outer shell thingamajig to like transfer air around the edges of the can that vents out the front, whatever, right? So all modern 3D, not all, but a good selection of modern 3D printed cans are all kind of trying to do the same thing. And now they're just battling it out for price and performance, form factor, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, so Pew Science did that. Exigent and Ridgeback, not super happy. Started, to talk bad about Jay a little bit. Otter Creek Labs is also in there kind of making fun of them because Otter Creek Labs, of course, they have the Infinity and they have the Polo K. Polo K is loved by pores because, I don't even say that as a bad thing, because it does so well for its form factor and price tag. There was a time, I don't know if you still can, where Polo Ks were going for like the mid fours, right? They're really inexpensive cans. The drawback is that they're very high back pressure. They're very gassy cans, but you get very good sound performance out of a very small, inexpensive package, right? And we can all try and get the most out of our small, inexpensive packages, right?
Significantly. I mean, even trying to do like a defamation lawsuit, like you got to prove damages.
You can't do defamation lawsuit because you're making more money than you were 2 weeks ago before it happened.
So defamation, yes. There is another tort called business disparagement, and there's a third one called a Lanham Act violation, which is a federal tort.
Listen, okay, so Exigent Defense on the phone. Talking about suing your competitors is just an automatic L, right? Anytime it happens, no matter who does it, being like, oh, somebody said something mean about me online, so like I might be able to get them on a defamation charge or tortious interference or disparagement of business. Oh, I don't know, man. I might be able to sue them for saying mean things about me. Oh, but my business is doing too good. I can't take time off to do it. I don't know. It's just, it always comes across as bad. Like, don't talk about suing your competitors. It's just lame. Nobody's like, yeah, use the legal system to punish people who barely talk about your products. Okay. All right.
Jay from Pew Science squarely put himself right into that tort, whether he realizes it or smart enough to realize that. You don't even have to make a false statement under a Lanham Act. It can be reasonably misleading and implication of a counterfeit.
See, if Exigent Defense, I'm not going to call the guy stupid, but listen, if you're looking into all of these things and you know like the ins and outs, via ChatGPT or something like that, I'm a guess you were kind of upset. All right. And you were like, I'm going to look into this and see what I can get. And I might even get a consultation from a lawyer. And I'm so mad. And listen, I could get him here. I could get him here. Here's what he said here. And according to the 1968 Lanham Act or whatever you say in there, like, oh, I could do it this way. It's like, you looked into this. You thought about it. For whatever reason in my mind, I don't think you had this stuff just floating off the top of the dome. I think you were stewing on this, you know? And this sounds like Cope, that I would sue him for all this stuff, but my business, it's just doing too good. It's just doing too good. I can't sue him.
Product, i.e. his post that, oh, we don't need to test these cans because we've already tested cat suppressors, is reasonably enough misleading to put him inside what is a Lanham Act.
Oh, shut up. He made a joke on Reddit and you get upset. Imagine me having to defend somebody who made a joke on Reddit and you're a serious suppressor company and you're upset that I don't need to test these. They look like the cat cans. Like, so obnoxious. I don't even like Jay. I have to defend Pew Science here. Look at what you're making me do, guys. Unbelievable.
Actually, we'll put him into original jurisdiction for a federal lawsuit.
The Exigent Defense owner is a lawyer. Well, that's even funnier then. That's another reason not to support them. I mean, you know, not that I would ever advise you to negatively impact their business with somebody who is so litigious, right? But I'm just saying, like, lawyers aren't necessarily my favorite people in the world.
What are you doing next week?
I don't know. Depends on whether she texts me back or not.
Okay. You should fly down and let's do a podcast.
All right, I'm game. As I previously said on the podcast, man, make something better. Let's go head to head on trying to make the best cans out there. I'm down for it if, you know, the competition is. You want to ask this question.
Oh, God.
You saw that post where Pew Science posted that, you know, oh, we don't need to test cat cans.
I did.
All right. I think that's that clip. Now, Otter Creek Labs just kind of trolling back and forth, right? He just also said, you know, I can have a phone call too and do a podcast. It'll be really funny. It'll just, we'll make fun of Shark Toast Tactical and them putting their feet in everybody else's mouths or however that saying goes. And obviously mocking him with the really terrible tattoos, which I find hilarious. You have a penis with wings. You have random symbols and a very poorly done skull and crossbones. And I'm not sure what that's meant to mock, but I'm sure that that has some sort of relevance with an inside joke.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, what's up?
Hey, I just want to see if you wanted to do a podcast real fast.
Oh, yeah, man. I love a podcast.
Hell yeah, brother. So, what do you think about this whole suppressor conspiracy going on here?
Oh, man, it's really hard our business.
Dude, I believe it.
It's really hurting us. Last week, we only shipped out 3,000 suppressors instead of the normal 4,000.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah, it impacted our revenue by about 2%.
2%.
Man, it's been pretty rough.
Dude, I believe that.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to start hooking.
Yeah.
My wife is gonna start an OnlyFans selling feet pictures.
Go ahead and hit me up with that link.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do whatever we have to do. You know.
Right.
These car payments don't make themselves. What do you want?
No, I feel you. What's your thoughts on being on that no-fly list?
Well, I think I've got it worked out now.
Also, keep in mind that Exigent Defense is the one that did try to rat out OCL to the ATF and was complaining about Otter Creek for cutting open one of their suppressors, I want to say. Because they were trying to get the Otter Creek Labs in trouble with the ATF. I believe, if I'm remembering the story correctly, that it was Exigent Defense doing that. According to OCL, of course.
It was a misunderstanding. They accused me of touching a little boy's penis in the airplane bathroom.
Yes,
but
yes.
It turns out I was just in there holding my own dick.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So I've got everything worked out with the TSA now, and I think I'm going to be able to fly again soon.
Hell yeah.
No, these are fake tats making fun of the unfortunately real tats of, I don't even know the guy's name. I think it's funny just to call him Shark Toast.
Well, sweet. I just wanted to...
With we've got some federal tortillas going right now, some tortas.
Tortoise,
I looked
tortoise.
up torta on Reddit. Don't necessarily recommend it, but
No.
some federal tortillas going on. I've reached a deal with Jay at Pew Science where I can pay him an extra $17, and I'm guaranteed third place next time.
Oh shit, that's a good
So,
deal.
yeah.
Which is funny because I think the Exigent can is in third place. I don't know if it's behind or in front of the Infinity, but again, it's just a funny little jab in there, looking up tortas instead of torturous interference. It's very funny. Now, because of that, okay, Shark Toast Tactical was like, you know what, guys? We're gonna stop carrying Otter Creek Labs. If you want them, buy them. I'm gonna put them all up at cost, okay? Because I don't want these anymore because they suck. So that's Shark Toast trying to make fun of OCL, trying to sell all of his cans at cost just to get rid of them. And he's like, I'm no longer going to carry these polonium cans. He says the 5.56K, which is what's on his gun right now, similar to the Otter Dump, except it doesn't cost as much, and it's not. Oh no, sorry, the other Exigent TMP. So the other 5.56K is very similar to the Otter Dump, which is what's on his gun right now, except it don't cost as much, and it's not bad. So he's calling the Polo K bad. Sure, buddy. Black Chip Mag drops. Again, talking about magazines and other stuff. Now, what's funny is I have continuously mocked him for the last 2 months, 3 months, about him not wearing headphones indoors when he shoots full auto into a dump can, right? And he's like, oh, wow, that sounds good. After shooting 30 rounds indoors with any suppressor, okay? It's not a good time, bro. So he sits there and he's like, wow, yeah, that's good. That's how he tests out suppressors. And I've mocked him for that for, again, the last month or two at least. And he is now wearing headphones. So mission accomplished. You're welcome, Shark Toes Tactical. I have saved your hearing. So we'll let him go ahead and go through this for y'all.
Hello, I am in the bathroom. I am hiding from the internet. This is the TMP K-Can in 5.56. It's almost the same thing as the Otter Dump, except it's 475. 5.56, 62 grain from Pistol Peep. And this is the chocolate chip black mag that goes on OBS Works at 4 o'clock. Let's hear what this sounds like.
No, damn it. I want him to go back a little bit. He always makes these weird faces like that it's really good. He's like, ooh. I'm like, how could you possibly tell? You're inside of a tiny little room with almost no insulation shooting into a barrel. That is one of the most loud, concussive, obnoxious experiences you could imagine. And you're pretending that it sounds good or that you can tell anything at all. It's just nonsense. Now, I don't know if he deleted the comments on here, but Otter Creek Labs was on here saying that they would just buy all of the comments back. Or sorry, all of the cans back. Like, hey, you know what? I'll buy all the cans back. Don't put them down. Don't mark them down. I'll buy them all off of you so that, we'll put them to good use, essentially. We'll give you your money back if you're not happy with them. Anyways, then they followed up with the actual aforementioned podcast that we have here, where you have Exigent and Ridgeback in the house, which is just the same person for the most part, and they talk about Pew Science. So now, again, hoping that I don't get dragged into defending Pew Science here, but that is what it is.
You guys put your suppressors on Pew Science.
Like the sales part isn't it, the demand part isn't it. It's just keeping up the production and scaling up our facility and our production. So it just doesn't make a ton of sense.
Lack of transparency and cost associated with it, the inability to have a measurable ROI on that investment, coupled with numerous indications of just things that I wouldn't want to be associated with.
So a suppressor company is basically expected to contact another company called Pew Science, who happens to be, I think, one guy who is an engineer, according to ChatGPT. You have to submit your cans and pay this.
This dude is the entire toolbox. That's very funny. Yeah, return on investment is a good phrase. I do that sort of thing all the time where I finish an acronym with the rest of the acronym. So I don't want to fault him too much for that because I make that same verbal gaffe. But yeah, it happens to the best of us. Now, my thoughts on Pew Science. Okay, I don't love Pew Science. I think it's lame. I think there's perhaps shady things that have gone on in the past. I think the fact that his testing methodology is in some way proprietary and he doesn't tell you what all goes into it kind of invalidates it, right? Because suppressors and noise is a very, very technical thing. I don't think Jay is a stupid person. I don't think he's always intentionally misrepresenting things, but because he charges somewhere between $9,500 and $20,000 or more in some cases to suppressor companies to test their products, it seems to be there's a possibility of pay for play or just the numbers getting fudged in one way or another, or the platforms changing for some reason to give one suppressor a better number than the other. There's just all sorts of like little things that make me question Pew Science's reliability. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad to have these metrics or that you shouldn't care about these metrics, but you have to remember that Reddit and suppressor nerds are just that at the end of the day. It's like computer nerds, okay? If you're comparing like 12 different graphics cards to one another and you're like watching 100 benchmark videos and all this other stuff, it's that level of nerd retardation and taking one test over another while changing out different variables, whatever else it might be. If you don't know exactly what all the variables are that go into the testing, the environment, the equipment, all of that sort of fun stuff, like it's not really analogous to the real world in any way, shape, or form. So while it might be useful in terms of Pew Science's own testing to compare other cans in his simulated similar environment, let's say, it's not really going to be applicable to your can, your gun, your ammo, and your situation, right? Because Jay is obviously limited in the amount of time, the amount of equipment, the amount of rounds, the amount of environments that he's testing these things in. So the numbers that he provides that a lot of people just take as gospel, I think is a little bit foolish. And also, in my opinion, like the actual noise rating is not particularly important, right? I'm not an idiot, so I wear hearing protection because I want to, be able to hear and talk to my children when I'm an old man, maybe even grandchildren. You never know, right? So I protect my hearing as much as possible. So whether one can's at 137.6 decibels and this one's 136.5, I don't really care, right? If I'm shooting 500 rounds a session, that 1 decibel one way or the other is not going to save me. Hearing protection, foamies on the inside of over ears, that's going to actually do that's actually going to be what helps me. And just having the gun suppressed will do a good enough job regardless of what that actual raw number is in whatever environment you happen to be in, right?
Person, in order to get a review of your can, in order to get social proof to the rest of the industry, including the Reddit crowd. And when I say that out loud, like I think fucking bullshit.
Decibels of each suppressor, is that what it is?
It's a proprietary formula that nobody knows or he will not release based on his assertion that it's a proprietary formula.
You can be expected or forced to pay for a rating of your can where you don't really know the science behind it. And you have to go by somebody.
And this is the power of Reddit and nerds, which is like, if you can take advantage of this, it's a great boon, right? If I came out, let's say with a wonder can, like the Tisha, and it just beat out everyone. It was so good, like unbelievably good, surprisingly good, questionably good. And it just came out of nowhere from a company that had never done anything before and they couldn't get their prints or their quality control down. And then it just came out and magically beat everyone. And so they sold a lot off of that rating. Well, if you can get a can out there that just magically gets the top spot, you're going to get a lot of Reddit nerds buying your stuff. Whether or not it actually deserves that spot is, to be seen, I suppose. I would like to see third-party testing that's not Jay's to see if that actually holds true in different environments or with different variables. But, I'm just skeptical of one data point. That's all.
Who you don't really know their expertise other than everybody's paid them money. And how much money is it?
You can't replicate the actual tests if you don't know what numbers he's putting into the algorithm, how's he's testing it, what equipment is he testing it on, is it outside, is it inside, was it hot that day, is it the same ammo? There's so many variables that can really move the needle. You're just assuming that he entered the correct number on his spreadsheet and it spit out, the correct score.
And what do we know about power and money?
That they corrupt.
So you're saying that, like, just like the mafia, if you don't pay Pew Science, then he will send the Reddit goons to come and collect.
Or claim that you stole designs.
Money corrupts. So
Well, he didn't claim that you stole designs. He just said that your designs look surprisingly similar to Cat's designs, right? With the surge bypass. Not quite the same as alleging you actually stole something. I get that that's still a sensitive topic for you. But no, their criticisms of Pew Science, I have similar criticisms of. I also think it's funny that one guy has essentially converted Reddit into an army for him that literally bullies suppressor manufacturers into giving Pew Science between, $10,000 and $20,000. I think that is kind of admirable in a way that he has so efficiently weaponized his audience to do that to companies, right? If you're a suppressor company and you're not on his list, it's like, how can I buy your product? There are so many people that'll say, I can't buy your product until I see it on Pew Science. Until Pew Science gives me a number, I can't buy your product. I would be interested in your product, but until it's on Pew Science, I can't touch it. Which is where it kind of gets the name of it, Jew Science, right? It's funny. Well, yeah, it's like $9.5K, $12K per can for testing, and I've seen some people charge like $25K. It could be a lot of money. Okay, you're giving Pew Science, Jew Science, a lot of money to put a number next to your can. It's a lot of money.
If you're expected to pay between $6,000 to $25,000, which is what it is. It's $6,000. If you didn't want to say the amount, that's fine. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. It's $6,000 to $25,000.
It can be up to $25,000. Yeah, $25,000 is the highest that I've heard. But yes, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money that you have to pay Pew Science to get him to test your cans, right? So why is it a variable amount? I have no idea. I don't know why he charges some companies more than others. It just seems strange to me. It just seems weird. I don't know.
Per can?
Per can. We have the right here. And I've signed no NDA. You can, I've been sued before or whatever. It's okay. Like, you get social proof. It's advertising. It's your advertising budget or whatever. You can take the marketing budget, if you want to call it that, and make 20 free cans, 30 free cans.
No, that's exactly the math that we were doing in our heads. Ultimately, we want to get as many of these out here as we can. My goal is to have someone shoot it and their friends to buy it from that point.
Right.
I'm going to send it out to people and ask what they thought. It's
give it away.
Literally that simple. Anytime I've sent a can to an influencer, I have like zero standards. I send them a can and I say, hey, if you like it and make a video, that'd be cool.
Well, that's funny because most of the influencers you're sending the can to also have zero standards. Now, here's the thing that's funny about all of this, right? I don't have anything actually against Shark Post Tactical. Sorry, I had to actually say it correct that time. I just think he says goofy things online and it's very funny. He has some good guests on and he has sway in the industry for some reason. I haven't really figured that part out, but so he's fun to like kind of poke fun of course. Exigent Defense, Ridgeback Defense, as far as I'm aware, their cans are fine. Like, there's no actual problem with their cans. The cans are actually solid. So whether it's a Roadie 6 or a Fire Team or whatever it might be, like, they're basically fine. They're relatively low back pressure, relatively good sound performance. I think they're a little bit cheaper than Cat. Cat is kind of like the quote unquote gold standard. They're a little more expensive. Other people kind of copy and then update their designs, which is why like you see certain cans come and go at different times. Otter Creek Labs, I tend to like because they make kind of standard high back pressure cans for a low dollar amount. That's their selling point, is they're relatively cheap. Pretty good performance, very good performance for the size. High back pressure, which isn't my favorite, but there's ways to mitigate that sort of thing. So I don't actually dislike anyone in this situation other than Reddit and kind of Pew Science. But that's just because I don't trust Pew Science. I have no reason to trust Pew Science and his numbers or anything else like that, right? So as far as all that's concerned, I am very happy to let all these suppressor companies fight it out, dog it out. As long as I'm not buying their stuff and it doesn't affect me, it's just fun. It's just fun to watch from the sidelines as these guys fight it out between themselves, amongst themselves. All right. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to get to one more story. One more story before we get to your guys' support and move on to Rage Bait. There might be two more stories. I forget exactly how I put these in order. But Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0, one of the best-selling handguns, according to Smith & Wesson, over the last couple of years. Obviously, really small, really lightweight, very difficult to put an optic on top of it. So they decided to go with Viridian to manufacture a specific red dot for their handgun. And man, could they not pick a worse option to go for an OEM combo? Viridian? Really? Not only is it a Viridian dot, but the setup here is just wrong. So here's from Bucky, Glow So Bright, hope he's doing well. Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 with the Viridian green dot sight. Bright cannot change brightness because it is a auto adjusting brightness only option. That is right. There are no brightness adjustment options. So it has some light sensor, whether it's forward, rear, upward facing, whatever it might be. And it just picks whatever brightness that you happen to be at. And that is what it is. You need a tool to change the battery, probably because you have to take it off the gun to actually change the battery. So thank you, I guess, Smith & Wesson, for creating a way to put an optic on it, but no thank you because you chose the worst possible option to do so. Now, they did pair a video to go along with it, so we are back on the 8-bit range for YouTube safety standards. Like, I'm not crazy here, guys, right? Back up like 2 frames. Like, that's objectively hideous. I kind of like that they tried to match the fish scallop serrations on the slide with the body of the optic. But other than that, like, it just looks like a hideous tumor growing off the back of the gun, sorry. Also, isn't it bigger than it should be? Like, the body is really thick and it's growing over the back of the slide. And the Bodyguard is such a small, slim handgun that it kind of ruins the profile. Like, that's objectively ugly, right? The Bodyguard's not a bad-looking handgun by any means. It's, Smith & Wesson lines. Serrations look nice. It's very modern. But that optic just looks terrible. It's awful.
Bodyguard 2.0 is the best-selling semi-automatic pistol on the market for the past 2 years straight, and it comes now with...
Now, that is according to, I forget the company that does it, like Livegate or something like that, or Livewire, who does the up-to-date numbers, quote-unquote, for the gun industry. The Bodyguard 2.0 beating out every other handgun on the market, if that's true, is very interesting. I would have guessed, off of intuition, it would be like the SIG P365 or, a Glock 19 or similar, or a, not the 320, but, something in that vein would be the most popular SKU, not necessarily the Bodyguard 2.0. Now, I've only ever heard good things about Bodyguard 2.0s, but at least in the circles that I run in, I never see them, ever. And I'm just not just talking about competition. Obviously, you don't see them in competition, but I'm just talking about people that I talk to and know. Nobody actually owns or carries one of these things. Maybe that's just in its category. If they're saying for deep concealed, subcompact, maybe it's the best selling subcompact of the last couple of years. Even so, it's still competing with the 365, which I know has been a great selling gun for not quite a decade, but 6 years at this point. Let me see. You got to be careful about sending me DMs on stream. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay.
A factory installed Viridian RFX1 red dot. Let me go through why it's the best selling pistol. 7/8 of an inch thick. It's like nothing. It's got a True Glow orange front dot sight on
There's no way that you can co-witness with that red dot on top, and the red dot is not coming off, or in this case, a green dot. There's no way you can co-witness.
it. Flat face trigger, aggressive slide serrations, 10+1.
Yeah, look at that. I'll move myself out of the way. There's no way you can co-witness with that. Look how tall the deck height is. And look how short that front sight is. Also, there's no rear sight. Unless there's a rear notch in the optic itself. Not even possible, bro.
In the Flush Fit magazine and 12+1 in the extended magazine of 380 Auto. Extremely ergonomic grip, and it makes it feel like you're shooting a full-size gun when you shoot.
What's good about this gun? Well, again, usually with really, really small 380s, the problem is that the smaller you make it, the worse they shoot. So it seems to me that like you get this tiny gun, so you put it in a small caliber like 380, and then it ends up shooting like a 9mm anyways because of how small and light it is. The one thing that the Bodyguard has done exceptionally well from everyone that I know that has shot one is that it shoots very well. It shoots fantastically. So it's a no recoil, deep carry, conceal handgun, right? Exactly. Everybody that has one loves them. So it's one of the things where it's like usually the trade-off with a small gun is it's terrible to actually use. With the Bodyguard 2.0, somehow, allegedly, they got around that. So, you know, that's what's good about it.
Shooting a gun that's like half the size of a full-size gun. Pretty crazy. It comes, like I said, with this Viridian RFX1 installed from the factory. It's a 3.0 MOA green dot sight. It's got.
Yeah, look how it does have a rear notch in the back. I think that's what I'm seeing right there. But still, that's way taller than the front sight. There's no way that that co-witnesses.
Auto on, auto dimming, and auto off. This is designed specifically for the Bodyguard 2.0, and you can tell because on the back here, the red dot integrates with the rear slide serrations. So you've got a little bit more space to rack the gun, which is nice. Looks great, doesn't sit too high above the bore either, which is fantastic.
Is he smoking crack? I know that they put him up there to say the line, you know, but that might be one of the tallest deck heights I've ever seen on a pistol dot, okay? Like that is quite thick. That is, maybe it's just in comparison to how small the slide is, but still, that is very high above the actual slide itself. So, again, I don't know why you partnered with Viridian of all people to make this. Holosun already makes a bunch of SCS versions for your handguns. Smith & Wesson, you should have just had them make an SCS, you know, integral battery, solar rechargeability. You can have it with the auto light sensor, you know, no removable battery, and it's way lower profile. Just have this paired with a Holosun SCS, like they're already doing with your other handgun models.
I can't say things about money on YouTube because they're going to nuke our channel, but go check out our website because there's some savings built into this as well, which is nice. If you already have a Bodyguard, buy one of these. Then you'll have two Bodyguards. You'll have one for each pocket. It's great. Have one in this pocket, have one for that pocket. If you don't want to buy another one, buy one for your mom. These are new today. We've got 3 different versions. We've got.
Wait, is that really? Is that why it hooks around the back? Because it's a dovetail mount? Is the Bodyguard slide too small where you can't actually get like 2 screws into the top of the slide anywhere? Like you don't have enough room between the extractor channel, the firing pin channel, where you can't actually get 2 optic screws in there? Again, the Holosun with the SCSs, they make like things that direct mount to anything. So I feel like they could get it done, even if it was a really weird mounting platform. Because it's proprietary, they should be able to put 2 screws, you know, even if they're offset in like really weird locations. Like that should be doable because, again, it's just for this gun. It's not for any other mounting platform. It's just for the Bodyguard 2.0, which is allegedly the best-selling gun of the last 2 years. So yeah, you're going to sell a lot of these optics.
Got the thumb safety version, we've got the no thumb safety version, and for you guys that live in states that have magazine restrictions, unfortunately, we have a version for you too. So go check it out. Brand new today, 3 different guns. For more information, check out smith-wesson.com.
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. Somebody said it in chat. Where did it go? About the magnetic red dot mount. Who made that? Was that Strike Industries? It sounds like something Strike Industries would do, but I don't think it was them. I think it was somebody else. But yeah, the magnetic pistol mount where it just like slams on top of your slide and then it's good to go, allegedly. That would actually be very funny. So it does ship out of the box. This is NRA Women for some reason. I don't know why I pulled up this article, but the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 now with Viridian RFX 1 optic. I have used Viridian optics before in the past. I tested out, I think, a couple of their earlier, cheaper options. There was one where it was paired with, I think it might have been paired with another Smith & Wesson like 3 or 4 years ago. And I think the glass fell out of that one, if I remember correctly. It was an all plastic body, no buttons. I don't think it was like a underside mounted battery. Again, plastic body, and the glass fell out of it after like 300 or 400 rounds. So Viridian optics, in my opinion, I am very, very skeptical. It's been a few years, but yeah, still, I don't trust their track record at this point. I know they have a couple wacky rifle dots that I could check out if I wanted to. The award-winning Bodyguard 2.0 offers exceptional performance in a compact and lightweight footprint. Chambered in .380 auto, this micro pistol comes with a flush-fit 10-round magazine and an extended 12-round magazine, and options with or without the some safety, weighing just 12 ounces. They're so small. What's funny is that optic is probably like 20%, 25% almost of the actual weight of the pistol itself without a magazine, which is very funny. That is yucky. I don't know, guys. That makes me want to buy it less, okay? They just need to be able to figure out how to actually mount the pistol or mount the optic in a way that does not require me to have a Viridian optic on top. Yeah, I don't even really believe them where they're like, no, the slide is too small. I'm like, I don't think so. Like, you have all this real estate up here for buttons. The hole is thick enough where you could put in a side mounted battery tray. Like, there's no way that the slide is that small where you can't figure out. I guess you can kind of see it a little better there where it like hooks around the back. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily believe you. You know, I feel like there's a better way to engineer this where I could get a better red dot with more features and not have to get a Viridian. Yeah. Focus Grip. Gideon makes a dot for the Bodyguard 2.0 as well. Let me look that up. Maybe that one does a better job. Gideon Bodyguard 2.0. I have not seen that. Let's see. The Pebble? Is that the one? That seems to be the one. Oh, come on, dude. Every single one of these stupid companies having me verify my... Here it is. I see. Okay. Having to verify my date of birth as if I'm a child. Okay. I know I act like a child, but it's not the same thing as being a child. All right. So this is the Pebble. And instantaneously, I'm like, wow, this looks way more like a regular red dot. And here it is with the dovetail mount that serves as your mounting plate for the optic itself. Isn't this instantly way more appealing? Like, yeah, it's a small micro red dot. It has a side-mounted battery tray. It has 2 screws on top, which is nice. It's removable. Like, look, it even has like the nice controls rather than like the tiny micro, like super, super fine flathead screwdriver type things where you need like a jeweler's kit to actually adjust the windage and elevation. That looks way more robust. Like, yeah, that looks infinitely better. Thanks, Gideon. Why wouldn't they just go with this? I'm just perusing Gideon's website and this looks way better. And you even have buttons on the side. What is this technology that we're showing here? What the heck? And let me just look at the price tag of it. It's like 200 credits. Still not terrible. It's not terrible. I mean, people are asking why put a dot on something so small, and that's kind of the point, isn't it? Because it's so small and has so little recoil, but the sights on the that's the problem with iron sights, is the smaller the gun, the worse the sights are, usually speaking, right? Now, it's probably fine for most people for a pocket carry or a super deep conceal where you're realistically only going to be shooting like 5 or 10 yards. However, should the need arise and you need to take a shot at 25 or 40 yards, see, now I'm like, I'd much rather have a dot than these tiny no sight radius iron sights on here if I'm taking a shot at 40 yards. So for me, if I had a Bodyguard 2.0, which I don't think they're particularly expensive, so maybe I should pick one up. But if I had one, I would absolutely put on a dot on it. And if I had to pick a dot, this looks like a decent contender, I would say. So, I mean, for me, having a dot on everything, that's what I use to aim. That's what I practice with. Just have a dot. Where that dot is where the bullet magically goes most of the time. Given that these things actually hold 0, which can sometimes be a little problematic. But I'm not sure how much I trust that mounting system, but it's something at least. Now, in some good years, or some good news, I should say, in some good news, U.S. Appeals Court declares New Jersey's ban on assault rifles unconstitutional. Finally, I remember people saying years ago when Trump was first in office that, oh, they're going to strike down all of these unconstitutional laws. The Supreme Court's going to overturn all of these assault weapon bans, and we're going to have a golden age of the Second Amendment, and everything will be fixed and we'll be in la la land sucking rainbows and unicorns, or however that saying goes. I think it's lollipops and unicorns. Anyways, however, that really hasn't been the case, but this is a good bit of news, especially for those people who are stuck in New Jersey, which couldn't be me. A federal appeals court on Friday ruled that New Jersey's assault weapons law barring possession of semi-automatic rifles like AR-15s and large capacity magazines containing more than 10 rounds of ammunition is unconstitutional. The ruling by Philadelphia-based Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals marked the first time a federal appeals court had ruled that a state's assault weapons ban violated the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment, which guarantees the right to keep and bear arms for self-defense. The issue is already in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, which agreed last month to review rulings that upheld similar bans adopted in Cook County, Illinois, and Connecticut against powerful semi-automatic rifles. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority. Watch it, okay. Conservative is strong language there, Reuters. All right. Friday's ruling came in lawsuits filed by gun rights group that said New Jersey's law could no longer stand after the Supreme Court handed down a landmark Second Amendment ruling in 2022 that expanded gun rights. That decision, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin, held that modern gun restrictions must be consistent with this nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation, so we can only stop black people from having firearms. Based? And gays based? And women based? If we take in the historical context, base Supreme Court, okay. Democrat-led New Jersey's lawyer had argued that it, like 10 other states, was justified in banning assault weapons, which they characterize as military-style weapons that can cause wholesale destruction. Like, is that discount destruction, or what are we talking about? Because wholesale sounds like a good deal to me. And fuel mass shootings. A lower court judge, no, that's SSRI companies coming out of Tel Aviv. A lower court judge in 2024 delivered a mixed ruling, holding New Jersey's 1990 ban on AR-15 rifles was unconstitutional, but that its prohibition of large capacity ammunition magazines could stand. The appeals court, by a 10-5 vote, went even further, declaring the ban on all types of 7 semi-automatic rifles, and not just AR-15s, violates the Second Amendment, as does the large capacity magazine ban. U.S. Circuit Judge Ariana Freeman said the Supreme Court's recent Second Amendment rulings teach that bans or broad prohibitions on possession of carrying of a class of weapons in common use for lawful purposes fail to find support in our nation's tradition of firearm regulation. Now, this in and of itself is good. Obviously, this will have some sort of positive effect. I don't really know the entire ramifications of the people who live in New Jersey, if you can really even call them people, if we're being honest. However, this is a good thing for them. I don't think that that is going to negatively affect them in any way, shape, or form. And it helps to bolster, hopefully, the Supreme Court's upcoming litigation, upcoming case in the future. You know, so whenever they take that, I think that there is a good chance that we have a good outcome for the Second Amendment, for everyday American citizens' right to continue to carry and to bear arms and yada, 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 purchase what they want, modern firearms and all that sort of fun stuff. I'm again, Is it going to be a total win that everybody's hoping and praying for? I'm less doubtful of that, but I do think that this is a positive indicator that at least for the next couple of years, we're going to have some positive movement in the gun sphere in terms of rights, in terms of accessibility, like we've already had with, unfortunately, the ill-named big beautiful bill where we got the suppressor and SBR taxes removed, which is like positive in some aspect, right? But we still have the more nefarious aspects of the NFA in place. So while, again, I don't think we're going to be getting the total victory that we want, the ATFD, or I don't know how you want to say that, but I don't think we're going to be getting that, but we will be getting something positive in some way, shape, or form. And if you live in New Jersey, good for you guys. Happy for you. Sad that you still live there, but happy for you nonetheless. All right. Let's go ahead and get to your guys' support, and then we'll get to some white pill, some rage bait, a little bit of everything. The Handsome Horse for $20 says, Big Toe Money Friday. Christ is King. Free Dugan. Yes, I need to give them a call and get some updates on that. Hopefully get some motion moving that way for them.
I'm a pregnant woman. Taser.
This is song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, big toe money. This is song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Thank you, Handsome Horse. Appreciate you, good sir. Thank you. Amorite Boy for 5 says, late and gay. Richard, make PFP something funny. Well, just for you, what could I even change this to? Do I have other avatars up here? Here we go. Boom. That's funny enough. Thank you, Amorite Boy. Madden Williams for 5 says, excited for my first sectionals for USPSA here in Alaska. Any tips, John? Well, start dry firing, bro, and make sure that you are moving and schmooving when it comes to dry fire, okay? Make sure you are hauling ass, okay? Get that gun up early and often. In fact, keep the gun up basically the entire time, okay? But no, literally, put out some space in your house, in your garage, in your neighbor's lawn, set up some targets, and do a lot of aggressive movement, dry fire with, small simulated steals and no shoots and all that other fun stuff, and just dry fire a bunch. Thank you, Madden. Appreciate that. Good luck out there. Peter Parker for 10 says, before you slander my beloved LCO, I don't care. They look cool. Well, listen, looking cool is always an appropriate defense of your optic of choice. Thank you, Peter Parker. Amorite Boy for 2 says, Canik has cans now as well, about 5 bones for 1. I honestly forgot that they had cans. Again, I don't know a single person who owns one, or has shot one, or has tested one. But yeah, they do exist. Thank you, Amorite Boy. Lost Arrow for 5 says, Bazinga. You're a Bazinga. Jeez. Manhattan Cafe looking very nice. Amorite Boy for 2 says, I prefer my optics made by forced child labor. True. I think it helps them to taste better. Helix, member for 8 months, says, tell me what's good about this optic. Where's it?
I don't understand. Care. No, again, I don't fucking care, brother. Come on.
Okay,
I don't
great,
fucking care.
but
What's good about this optic?
Thank you, Helix. I appreciate that, good sir. Handsome Horse back again says, your turn, Trigicon. Bring back the SRS. Interesting. Yes, I think that they could, it'll be even funnier to do it the second time. Make it bigger this time. I think that is still the king of the heaviest red dot on the market. Well, it's not on the market anymore, but that used to be on the market. Things like a pound. Thank you, Handsome Horse. Dillweed, member for 2 months, says, it's hard to take feet people over the fet people? Fat people? Black people? It's hard to take fet people over the phone seriously. All right. I don't know what you mean, but either way, it's fun. Zanico for 5 says, Zanico, new suppressor, 6.7 inches long. It's huge. 14.8 millimeter bore, based, named the 271K. Kind of funny. Now, what, a 1488 bore would be like 12 gauge. That's a 12 gauge can right there. That'd be funny. Thank you, Zanico. Amorite Boy, for another 5, says, how will this help Kyle Arena's case New Jersey is bringing against him, since most of his charges came from how many mags he had? I don't know how that works, because it's like when they legalize weed in an area, right? It doesn't like retroactively give amnesty to everyone serving time or who has a record with weed. So I think that has to be fought out in the court system again, or you got to have lawyers to fight that. So I don't know. Hopefully it helps him, right? If it's just having magazines of a specific capacity, I hope that it's a great boon to his case. But I know that sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Like it's not retroactively amnesty inducing. Thank you, Amorite Boy. Mad Skills for 5 says, focus. I seek guidance. What do you recommend for 500 or under, new or used, optics ready, irrelevant, in 9 preferably? Well, you have so many good options for under 500. It's actually a lot of things. So if you're looking for something you can carry, the RXM, if again we're talking about under 500, I think you can still find them for like 350. Good option right there. You could even squeeze in like a Gideon optic for like the $500 price tag. Optics ready, yada yada yada. Really cheap, but they work for the most part. Used Glocks, LE trade-in Glocks, man. If you can go to your local gun store, you can probably find a couple Glocks for under 500. I even saw a 47 MOS, a Gen 5 47 MOS for 450 at my local gun store. I should have bought it. So used Glocks for sure, new RXMs, CZP10Cs, I think are a really good option, especially if you can get one of the comped ones for under 500. P10Fs kind of. Magazines are a little trickier, so I wouldn't really recommend them quite as much, but they're another option. Smith & Wesson 2.0s, you're going to have a lot of options. Go again, your local gun store, you're going to find a lot in the used cases between, 400 and 500 bones, and you should be able to get some good options there for sure. It really depends on your application. If you want to shoot it, then, the longer, the 4.5s, the 5 inches are really desirable. If you're looking for just carrying, then, the 4-inch or something like that, or even some of the like a Shield 2.0 or a Shield Plus, right? Another great option from Smith & Wesson. There are some really good options out there for sure. Sub 500, you still have good choices. Lots of good choices. People in chat saying Beretta APX A1. I've heard some bad things about the APX A1. I still kind of want to get one. There's so many good options. Again, infinite used Glocks, M&Ps. I wouldn't grab a SIG at this point in time, but there's just a lot of good options in that price tag. I mean, if you want to go Canik, you can get almost every Canik under $500. Again, for like a bet your life on purposes, I think that there are better choices, right? For competition choices, I think that they can make a very economical option, but it really depends on your application. Thank you, Mad Skills. Appreciate that, sir. Hope that helps. Let's check over on Rumble. Oh, Jarrett for 2 says, finally caught a show live, but have to skedaddle now. Have a great night, everyone. Christ is king and God is good. Thank you, Jarrett. Appreciate that, good sir. And yes, God is indeed quite good. Hence why all of you are here chilling with me right now on a Friday night. All right, Just Some Space Cowboy over on Ko-Fi becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep, mega-based. Subarctic Psycho for $10 says, hey, John, someday we'll meet each other IRL. And when we do, I'll know it's you, but you won't know it's me. It's a surprise. Maybe it's already happened and you didn't know, but I did. I don't know. See you someday. Well, thank you, Subarctic Psycho. Thank you for making my skin crawl once again. Farrell for 3 puts up a YouTube link. Do I click on the link or not? Let's see. What is this? Oh, this is probably going to be really funny. Well, you know what? For $3, why not? $1 per minute. Now people are just going to be sending in YouTube links for like $3. But let's debate support for the transgender community. Scott Wiener 10 years ago. So Scott Wiener is a gay Jewish man who has made it easier for people to transmit AIDS from one another. I think he wants to do gay stuff with children in school, unironically. Like just an evil, disgusting, decrepit human who happens to be gay and Jewish.
Here's my question. Last year, a transgender woman who was in prison for nearly 30 years in California, was released on parole as part of a legal settlement. At issue was the federal judge's ruling that the state had to provide, quote, gender confirmation surgery, end quote. Would you author state legislation to allow the state to pay for similar surgeries for other trans prisoners?
We'll start with Kim.
And we'll start with Supervisor.
Absolutely. I have been a longtime supporter of ensuring that we are fighting for the rights of transgender individuals and intersex individuals here in our county prison, and I'll certainly be an advocate for that at the state level. We are seeing an increasing number of individuals that identify as transgender in our county prison today. In fact, Supervisor David Campos and I wrote a letter yesterday.
What is going on? What is happening? These are your options? No, we fight for our transgender inmates who commit just as many crimes as mentally stable people.
For sure, asking what our county sheriff is doing to ensure that we're providing reasonable accommodation, but also access to the same program and curriculum that our other inmates are getting provided.
Isn't that insane, though? You're like, listen, we need to take good care of our mentally unstable prison inmates by allowing them to cut their dicks off. Really? Really? Are you sure about that?
Today. In fact, we know that transgender individuals aren't getting the support, the curriculum, and programmatic support as other inmates are, simply because they're not easy to put in a gender box in our county. This system needs to be updated, and demanding that we do that here at the local level, and it'll be a fight for that at the state level as well.
My support for the trans community is because it's the right thing to do, and it's also personal. There was actually a particular transgender person who mentored me, and I would not be on the board of supervisors today.
You were molested by a tranny and now you're a gay Jew? That's a weird pipeline, but I guess, okay. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry to hear that, Mr. Wiener. Appropriately named.
Been there for me over and over and over again as a friend and a mentor and a teacher. It matters. When I took office, I think a year or so after I took office, some trans advocates came to me and said, you know, when Healthy San Francisco was adopted in 2006 or thereabouts, there was what was supposed to be a temporary exclusion for full transgender health coverage. And that became, I think, like a 6 or 7 year exclusion, and the Department of Public Health was not removing it. So I called Director of Public Health and her staff and these advocates into my office, and I said, we're not walking out of this room until we figure out how to remove this exemption. And an hour and a half later, guess what? We have figured it out. And then
Okay, I'm not going to listen to the rest of that. But yeah, we figured out how to cut our inmates' dicks off, which would, in any other era of humanity, would be cruel and unusual punishment. But okay, thank you very much for that, Forelli. All right, also over on Ko-Fi, Breakfast Paladin for 3 says, happy weekend, friends. The Canadians and their wildfires are making my beach vacation less than ideal. Christ is king, free Dugan, and abolish the ATF. 2 Timothy 3:16-17, which says, all scripture is God-breathed and is useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness, so that the servant of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. Thank you very much for that, Breakfast Paladin. Greatly appreciate that, sir. And Breakfast Paladin also becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep, as does Subarctic Noticer, as does Ballistic Hipster. And then I saw this on Ko-Fi right as we ended the stream on Wednesday. But this is from Seaman. Mr. Cody says, John, you still got to add Gunning Down Browns, the intro song from Your Customers Don't Like This, and the new intro song from We're Doing This Again to Focus Tracks. Appreciate all that you do. You and Richard have a great stream. I'll catch the VOD tomorrow. Well, thank you very much, Cody, for the belated $30, which is incredibly based of you.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Every time I get one-shotted by that. Now, In good news, okay, we were just talking about Scott Wiener, a gay man who happens to be Jewish, and also talk about all sorts of other issues. But now we have actually, I think, officially hit 111, right? Because I think if you add the Maldives and now Malaysia, I think we're up to 111 now. Add one to the scoreboard for Malaysia, okay? I know they got all their problems, but +1 to Malaysia this round. Malaysia to deport any Israeli citizens found in country amid Forest City investigation. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said on Wednesday that any Israeli citizens found in the country would be deported immediately as authorities investigate allegations that Israelis using dual citizenship were involved in a technology-focused community in Johore's Forest City. Speaking to reporters, Anwar reiterated Malaysia's long-standing policy of not recognizing Israel and said the government would not allow Israeli nationals to remain in the country. The investigation focuses on Network School, a co-living community for startup founders, entrepreneurs, and digital nomads established by former Coinbase executive Balaji Srinivasan. The project operates in Ford City, a large China-backed development located across the Johor Strait from Singapore. The community attracted widespread attention for a promotional video showcased residents describing life on what they call a man-made island near Singapore. In the video, Srinivasan says the project aims to build Silicon Valley outside Silicon Valley. The promotional also sparked criticism on social media, with some users questioning the nature of the community and comparing it to a cult. So they're shutting down the weird Coinbase little tech Israeli community that's trying to be a thing in Malaysia, okay? Every time they get kicked out of a country for doing weird, culty, gross things with the inhabitants, it was never their fault. But I am sorry to announce ahead of time that Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim did commit suicide next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m., bullet to the back of the head. It was crazy. I feel bad for him and his family, and just condolences in advance for your new suicide. Now, this is just funny. Okay, I know that the Odyssey is out right now. Christopher Nolan's gay black epic featuring ethnics replacing all of the beloved characters in our modern mythos. Like when was the Iliad actually written, allegedly by Homer? Like 1200 BC, 1100 BC, like 3000 years ago, right? One of the greatest, most enduring stories ever. You know, of course, I was forced to read it as a child. I actually should have brought it out. I have one of the Franklin Library leather-bound editions of the Iliad. In fact, while I play this, I'm going to go grab it real fast because I think it's over here on my shelf. I'll be right back. Sorry, I don't think that actually played, but it was very funny. But here is like an actual, like, beautiful Iliad, leather-bound. Probably my best book that I own in terms of quality. Just fantastic work here. Okay, look at that. Okay, I'm book flexing on you guys. I should have it sitting over here where you guys can actually see it, but that's one of my prized books. I actually quite like that. Anyways, so the memes have been very good, of course, with the unfortunate casting of black person as both Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships, being the most beautiful of all women, of course, turns out to just be body cam footage, right? This is hilarious. Of course, this is her murdering Agamemnon for sacrificing their daughter to Artemis, I want to say, in the story. Of course, just some things are just not as they should be. You know, it's like this is the 2004 Troy, looking a little bit more accurate to the locale and to the source material. And here we have gay, retarded, ethnicified 2026 Odyssey. So no, of course, I'm not interested in watching this film. I'm not going to support it. I'm not like, listen, Hollywood is an evil, disgusting place of scum and villainy. It's not like this is like, oh, this is the bridge too far where I stop supporting Hollywood. Listen, Hollywood is an evil, debaucherous place that has been this way for decades, since probably since the Hays Code got removed, right? So this is normies are noticing it now, which is always fun when people are like, hey, that doesn't seem right. That seems wrong. Why are they doing that? They're casting a tranny as Synod from the Aeneid, and they're casting Lupita Nyong'o from Africa as Helen of Troy, Helen of Detroit, Felon of Troy, however you want to say it. It's like, I feel like you're just mocking me now. I feel like this isn't, you're not trying to help in any way, shape, or form. You're not trying to tell the best story. I feel like this is purely political. Anyways, now, moving on from there into actual rage bait, not just cringe Hollywood narcissism, we have Texas dentist charged over death of 4-year-old. In procedure she didn't even need. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys. Okay? For some reason, I don't trust the dentist on the left. You know, when these people are allowed into, medical school and all these other trades and whatnot with reduced capacity or at least reduced grades, I just don't really trust them for some reason. Dentists could be here, I thought to myself. Thank you, Gene Lemmings. Dentists around every corner. Just every headline. A Texas dentist, of course it's Texas. I know Texas has a big ego and people from Texas tend to love it, but listen, guys, you have so many problems. I would never move to Texas. A Texas dentist has been charged with after a 4-year-old girl died from a routine procedure that she didn't even need, according to reports. Chriselle Hemphill, a mom of 2 who runs Cuddle Kids Dental Care in Fort Worth, mom of 2, not from the same person, was arrested at her office Wednesday over the April 1st April Fools! Your daughter's dead. April Fools! Ha! Procedure that led to Athena Rodriguez's death. The sweet, loving 4-year-old girl was given lethal doses of pain medication for a tongue tie op that both her pediatrician and specialist both said she didn't even need, according to an arrest report. Hey, yo, is that 10 milliliter or 100 milliliter? I don't even remember, dog, dude. Just fill that needle up and shove that shit in there, man. Fuck, man. They been doing to stop fighting me. Yeah, when you can't tell the difference between, did that say 1 milliliter or 10 milliliters? Is there 0 on there? Nightmare scenario. Nightmare. Can they read the label? Do they understand the difference? Imagine you're taking your kid to the dentist. Buddy. As a man with a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old, imagine a dentist killing your kid because they're too stupid to give them the right dose of a pain medication. Now, I would just say, as a preemptive measure, if your dentist looks like this, find another dentist. Nope. No, thank you. Nope. Not around me. Not around my kids. Nope. I'm going to judge very heavily. I'm going to be very prejudiced when it comes to the life of my children. Athena was given excessive amounts of Demerol, a highly addictive pain medication known as Metaridon, however you say that, 2 other sedatives, and nitrous oxide, according to the report. Hemphill, 48, attempted CPR when the girl became unresponsive, with another dentist helping. But Athena could not be saved when rushed to the hospital. Her cause of death was given as meperidine toxicity. Man, I could not imagine. Just you're sitting in the waiting room, your kid is in the dentist, just getting their teeth cleaned or whatnot. And then the next minute you're rushing to the hospital. You have no idea what's going on. Your kid's unresponsive. And it turns out that the ape dentist just murdered your child because they couldn't figure out the right dose. It's a real thing. Medical malpractice happens all the time, and it's only going to happen more and more the more of these people get pushed through schools. Her family said in a fundraiser that it was heartbroken by her sudden loss of the beautiful 4-year-old girl who was filled with life and kindness. Her presence was always lit up a room, and she brought so much joy to everyone around her. She was sweet, loving, and touched the lives of all who knew her. Hempel's arrest report said that the amount of meperidine found in Athena's system would have been high for an adult and that the medication was given to her twice. Rotten prison. No, sorry, we don't even need prison. No prison necessary. You're fine. Her level was 793 nanograms per millimeter, way over the adult range of 200 to 500 nanograms, almost double the max. Okay. Hemphill didn't realize the 3 drugs combined could be potentially fatal. Yeah, no DEI doctors, no DEI dentists. It's a disgusting world we live in where just a dentist visit by one of these retards could end up being fatal. Disgusting. All right. Speaking of mockery, though, this one's been floating around, and it's just another sign, okay? A sign of the times, if you will. But we have a man in ill-fitting armor with an ill-fitting helmet, a royal guard. Yeah, that's my internal monologue right now. A royal guard in 2026. Checking on Britain, shall we? Imagine sacrificing the greatest generation for this. We defeated the wrong enemy, General Patton, 1945. And imagine, you're at Buckingham Palace or any of these places, and you're like, oh, I get to see the British people and their culture and all this wonderful, beautiful architecture and whatnot. And what do you see? Whoa, you see loud noises. That's what you see. But you see this mockery. This just... And I mean, it's mocking this guy too. Like, this is something you would do to your enemy, is put them in a set of ill-fitting armor so you could mock and berate them before you killed them, right? I mean, it's a mockery for all parties involved. It's a demoralization effort. But moving on to the effects of this. So multiple people shot in Kroger in Texas. This is why you didn't hear about it. Now, fortunately, ABC did actually put the guy's mugshot front and center, as you are about to see. Suspect charged in shooting at Kroger grocery store in Texas. One victim was wounded in the shooting at a Kroger grocery store near Houston. Sorry for all you Texans out there.
An alarming scene unfolding late today. Reports of a shooting inside a supermarket in Houston. Authorities say there are multiple victims, and here's Aaron Katursky now.
Tonight, gunfire in the aisles of a Houston area grocery store leaves 2 victims in critical condition. Police swarming this Kroger in Cypress just before 3 o'clock local time. The gunfire in broad daylight sent shoppers running for cover.
We heard a round fired. We heard another, I think a couple rounds fired. It was like at least 2 or 3. And then everybody booked it out. Like, everybody just started.
You know what's funny is it's this Portland phenotype, Houston, what's the other one? Austin phenotype, right? That allows this phenotype to run around. You know, it's this soft metrosexual phenotype that allows the other one to continue. You know, they're tied together. Okay, you get a bunch of soft, disgusting looking Portlanders, let's call them, and you get more of these. Somehow they're tied together. We haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm sure we will at some time.
We have 2 coming out of the bakery, and we just had 2 civilians come out the freezer.
Patrick Young was a few aisles away.
And then I heard pop. And there was a pause, and then I heard pop, pop, pop. And by that time, everyone was running. I left my medication, and I just ran. And then I came out here, and people were driving up, and I was like, active gunman, don't come in here.
At least 2 people were transported in critical condition, one of them flown to the hospital by helicopter. And tonight, police say one of those victims could be the shooter.
Here's the thing, though. Like, obviously, this is just, I don't even know what to call it. 2 young gentlemen having a disagreement, 2 young scholars getting into it, so to speak. But again, this could be you. This could be you and your daughter at your local grocery store, and it could be a dentist. You never know. There could be dentists in the grocery store, and they could just start shooting at one another. And instead of hitting each other, of course, which would be the kind alternative, they end up hitting some innocent bystander, which is the most unfortunate outcome. A man is facing charges after allegedly critically wounding another person in a shooting at a Kroger grocery store near Houston, authorities said. Deputies responded to an active shooter report at the Cypress grocery store Wednesday afternoon and quickly apprehended the suspect, 20-year-old Caden Osbrooks, as he was leaving the store, according to the Harris County Precinct 4 Constable's office. The shooting victim was taken to a hospital and listed as stable but critical condition on Thursday. Osbrooks is being treated at a hospital, authorities said. He is being guarded by deputies, authorities said. And when he's released, he'll be booked for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, causing serious bodily injury. And he'll be put out on bond, back onto the streets in just a couple weeks. Don't you worry. Now, in unfortunately not shocking news, I guess you could say, this is just more par for the course. And unfortunately, just it's the meme, right? And we have to update the meme for this one, because the meme was always like 6 years old is when certain children, ethnic children, you could say, become dangerous, right? That's when the violent spike happens. We may need to re-examine that, as unfortunately, the tragic headline, a 4-year-old boy shoots and kills 2-year-old cuz in Florida. 4-year-old boy. And of course, they use a picture of him making him look nice and innocent at 4 years old rather than the dangerous killer that he is today. You know, they never show you the updated photo of him when he's in his killer mode. They always use one of the photos of him as a kid. Oh, wait, he's actually just 4 years old. A 4-year-old shoots and kills 2-year-old cousin with gun left unsecured in car, sheriffs say. A 4-year-old boy was shot and killed, and his 2-year-old cousin with a handgun that was left unsecured in a car, according to authorities in Florida. It will be Florida. Officers responded Sunday afternoon to a home in Kinnasmy, where they found a 2-year-old boy with a gunshot wound. Osceola County Sheriff Chris Blackman, which is funny, said the little boy, Braden Tennyson, was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. The sheriff's office said Braden would have turned 3 on Tuesday, according to the sheriff's office. The 2 children were alone in the car when the 4-year-old found Braden's mother's unsecured gun and discharged it, striking Braden. The gun was literally in the open, Blackman said at the news conference. I would think if it's in a holster, maybe it'd be harder for the child to manipulate as well, but it's literally laying out by itself, so it's easy to grab, and you pull the trigger, and you can't recall that. It's not a video game. 4-year-old, I don't know what video games you're playing at 4 years old. The family had traveled from Louisville, Georgia to Florida for vacation and were staying at a rental home, according to authorities. So you're telling me that this mother, no dad in the picture as far as I can tell, this mother just left a loaded hot handgun, not in a holster, not covered, not in a glove compartment, not hidden, just sitting on a seat? Just sitting on a seat with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old in the car, and was like, yeah, just go for it, dog. I'll be in the stove getting some liquor. What were you possibly doing? Oh, I can't bring my gun in there. I leave it here on the seat. I mean, even just like, think about another scenario where the kids don't shoot each other, of course, which is terrible and tragic, but where just somebody walking by is like, hey, look, there's a car with a gun in the front seat. Why don't I just take that car and then, while they're breaking in through the window, maybe hurt one of your kids? Like, any forethought, any planning? Well, I hope that mom gets thrown away. Feel sorry for the cuz. Sorry, cuzzo. Mama left a gap for me, and you're just not going to cut it, cuzzo. All right. Well, maybe in lighter news, I suppose, maybe that's enough heavy stuff for now. Although this lady may have been taking it heavy for all that we know. Married mother of 3, now former Nashville police officer Lisa Vidrios has resigned following an internal investigation that determined she had been having sex with a fellow Nashville cop multiple times, including inside the school where she worked as a school resource officer. Many such cases. They also had sex in Nashville police vehicles and recorded many of the encounters. Yes, our brave men and women, our female police officers out there protecting and serving. Protecting and jerking. I don't know. There's some term there that you could put in there, I'm sure. According to one of the teachers interviewed during the investigation, school staff members heard the cops having sex inside Madison Middle School during school hours. Perhaps these people shouldn't have access to every aspect of our lives via taxpayer-funded AI power software and cameras, perhaps. Yes, that's a reference to, of course, the Flock AI cameras that these police officers have been using to track down hotties, local hotties. And they're like, oh, hey, I know this person. Wood, definitely serving. She looks nuts. She was serving all right. Serving lol.
Officer Lisa Vidrios seemed to have it all.
Hi, I'm Lisa Vidrios, and I transferred to Nashville from the San Diego Police Department. Prior to serving as a police officer, I served in the United States Marine Corps for 9 years.
In 2022.
Okay, so she was a barracks bunny for 9 years. Okay, she was the unit morale piece for 9 years, and I just think that old habits die hard. Okay, and we'll see that she was promoted very quickly. She was selected for all of these awards, and I just can't figure out what it could be. What about her could put her into these positions so quickly? She was really working her way to the top.
For 9 years.
In 2022, she graduated from the Metro Police Academy. The department even chose her among a handful of promising officers.
I wonder why she got selected ahead of everyone else. I just can't figure it out.
To represent her graduating class.
I came here to Nashville with my family and my husband included, who is also now a member of the Metro Police Department with me. We have 3 children together, ages 6, 4, and 1 years old. And we love spending time as a family and doing everything we can throughout the city.
You disgusting whore. You have 3 children with this man as you're running around on duty. Not to mention your prior proclivities, I'm sure. Yeah, married with 3 children, 1 year old at the youngest, while you're running around on him. Well, is it the husband's fault? Like, if he knew about it, then yeah, that's gross and disgusting. But I wouldn't throw him under the bus that fast. Maybe she's just a crazy hoe.
Of Nashville.
According to this internal report obtained by News 2, in May of last year, the 37-year-old woman and another Metro police officer began having an affair. According to the Office of Professional Accountability, Lisa Vidrios and the unnamed male officer, who's an 18-year veteran, reportedly had sexual relations multiple times while on duty, in police cars, and here at Madison Middle School, where the 37-year-old served as a school resource officer. According to the report, Vidrios and the veteran officer had sex in Vidrios's SRO office while children were present in the schoolhouse. According to the OPA report, there is overwhelming evidence that the officers had sex in a Metro building and the male officer's police car. That evidence includes video.
I like how it's evidence, it's like little points and clues. Yeah, we only have videos, pictures, text, eyewitness accounts from the people hearing them. Allegedly they were having, intercourse in the SRO office, but we can't be sure, but there seems to be a good amount of evidence. I like how they frame it that way when they were like filming it in HD, apparently.
Pictures and text chains, as well as an admission of wrongdoing by Vidrios. According to the internal report, the male officer has not been interviewed because he was on medical leave during the investigation. Then he was approved for a medical pension for an injury he sustained on duty.
What sort of injury? Was it a bone injury? You throw at his back? Dislocate a hip? Like, how did he hurt himself on duty? I'm very curious now. So he's on medical leave while all this is going down. So he hasn't been formally investigated yet, which is why his name hasn't been released. She gave him, oh no, strained pelvis, pulled groin.
This report indicates if he returns to active duty, OPA investigators will question him about this matter. And according to the report, Vidrios agreed to a suspension for some 30 days, after which she resigned from the police.
Imagine all that 30-day suspension. Now, she resigned, and maybe she would have been fired eventually, but all that and only a 30-day suspension? Like, surely, just as a violation of ethics, misuse of state vehicles, state property, having intercourse inside of a school with children around. Like, you get fired immediately. Like, I would think that you get fired immediately for that sort of violation, right? Apparently not. Apparently a 30-day suspension is all that it takes, and then she's right back at it. On to the next department, I guess. I don't want to. Yeah, oh my gosh. The thing is, you could just look her up, and she's probably out there and willing to serve. Okay, willing to serve. Now, speaking about FOIDs, okay, it's not just FOID police officers, but FOID judges. You know, we have a real problem with judges in this country. They're corrupt. They're evil. They're progressive. They have political leans that they're putting into their judging, but also sometimes they're very horny. Female prosecutor suspended from her job over claims she had inappropriate affairs with 3 men, including a defendant and an illegal immigrant. Imagine, if you will, this scenario, okay? So you're the prosecuting attorney, okay? And you're doing your job, you show up to court, and you look over at the defendant, and you're like, maybe I could help get him off a little bit later on. You know what I'm saying, okay? Yeah, we got some casework to do after this hearing, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to let him hear something, huh? Yeah, a top Missouri. A top? Are you sure she's not a bottom? A bottom Missouri prosecutor has been suspended over allegations she had affairs with 3 men, including an illegal immigrant accused of sexual assault. Dude, this is the meme, right? Where women are like, our streets aren't safe anymore, while they're banging rapists and illegal immigrants and then inviting more of them into the country. Wow, it's just so dangerous out there for women. Men suck. Anyways, that rapist is so hot, though. Oh my, we need 1 million more of them in my country. Where are you from? Rapistan? Oh my gosh, we should bring you in right now. Oh. I'm never doing that voice again. That was way too good. Ray County prosecutor Camille Johnston, 46 years old. 46, dude? Was hit with a writ of quo warranto. Warranto? Dude, she was probably hit with a couple other things. You know what I'm saying? This week by the Missouri Attorney General's office, alleging she abused her office to have inappropriate relationships. 46 years old, still going after it. Okay. All right. According to the filing, to remove her from the role, one of Johnston's romantic relationships was with a defense attorney representing several criminal defendants in cases prosecuted by Ray County. So you're sleeping with defendants, the defendants' attorneys, and illegal immigrant rapists. Have you no standards? Have you no standards? No. Stop it. I'm not doing do the mommy voice. I'll do the AI mommy voice. I'll read the rest of this.
In this voice, I'm sure you guys find this appropriate. All right. Excuse me. Writ of quo warranto this week by the Missouri Attorney General's office, alleging she abused her office to have inappropriate relationships. Allegedly having one of Johnston's romantic relationships was with the defense attorney representing several criminal defendants in cases prosecuted by Ray County. She also allegedly had an affair with an illegal immigrant identified by KSHB as Juan David Gutierrez, who is accused of sexually assaulting other women. Gutierrez was being prosecuted in Ray County, but she allegedly gave her vehicle to him to help him abscond to Florida and aiding and abetting? No way. She gave him a car to get him off? To get him out? Sorry. Apologies. Where she then went on vacation with the illegal migrant rapist. The filing stated, alongside the 2 alleged affairs, Johnson also carried out a sexual relationship with another defendant in a criminal case and fired an employee who discovered it, the writing claimed. Johnson was accused of an obvious appearance of a conflict of interest in her handling of a number of cases, which meant she had forfeited the office of prosecuting attorney. After Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway filed documents to remove Johnston from office on Thursday, a judge swiftly approved a preliminary order suspending her.
I'm tired, guys. Ray County prosecutor Camille Johnston, 46 years old, has been suspended over allegations she carried out affairs with 3 men, including an illegal immigrant being prosecuted for sexual assault. So David Gutierrez, I guess if you look vaguely Spanish, you can just rape women. Fair enough. Aiding and, oh, that's good. Aiding and abetting. I get it. Aiding and abetting. Ew. Ooh. That bill does not help. 46 years old. Oh. You take that back now. I guarantee, AMR, you're taking that back right now. 46. No. Anyways, first details of Johnston's alleged inappropriate relationship with Gutierrez emerged in September last year when KASHB reported that the prosecutor was his girlfriend when he allegedly sexually assaulted a woman in 2019. Wait, so you were his girlfriend while he was raping other women as you're a prosecuting attorney and you're like, nah, this is chill, dog. This is totally cool. I love this. The victim in that case, who remained anonymous, told the outlet she was absolutely shocked to learn of the relationship. Gutierrez was hit with criminal charges of sodomy and attempted sodomy, but the case was handed over to the Missouri State Highway Patrol in 2020 when the conflict of interest with Johnston was discovered. During this time, Johnston was also allegedly aware that Gutierrez was a citizen of Mexico and had been illegally in the United States since 2019, the writ of quo warranto filing stated. The prosecution against Gutierrez slowed as investigators said they did not know where he was. However, Johnston allegedly helped him abscond to Mississippi by giving him her truck. In court documents in a civil case filed by Gutierrez's alleged victim, it was claimed that Johnston transferred the title of the vehicle into Gutierrez's name before he took the truck down to Florida. Johnston subsequently went to Florida to vacation with Gutierrez, as you see him pictured down here. The filing said Gutierrez was eventually arrested in Ohio in 2024, and his trial for the sexual assault was set to begin July 13th, but was rescheduled for September. Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't, this, what is that word? That is a $2 word right there. Hybristophilia. A psychological condition characterized by sexual or romantic attraction to individuals who have committed crimes, particularly violent or notorious offenses. Oh, okay. Yeah. So just standard women moment. Standard woman moment. Yeah. She alleges she took no action to aid Gutierrez. I'm pretty sure she was helping him constantly and often. Get off my screen. Jeez. Ugh. All right. Anyways, what's funny? Can we end on a higher note? Not that one. Oh, here we go. Okay, I need to make sure that this is real. So, Voice of the Matter released a clip here. I'll go ahead and show you guys the clip, but just get ready for nonsense. Okay, so I believe this is for the Senate race in Maine, where Graham Plattner is currently on his way out after being accused of sexual assault by a woman, allegedly a woman. We're not entirely sure. And so there are some people trying to replace him. People, as they say. So why don't you go ahead and just listen to this wonderful person explain exactly what's going on.
In this country is not right with the immigration, and then with the trans community. Like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom.
This person looks like they should be a trucker, not a politician. You should be like, or maybe no, but apparently this is real. This is real. From Maine Democratic U.S. Senate debate for who will replace Graham Plattner. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Can I get that person's opening statement? This bro's opening statement. Oh, there he is. Ugh. I apologize.
I will beat Susan Collins.
Ashley Webb. I'm Ashley Webb. I'm from Farmington, Maine. The biggest thing I'd like to get across is that we need unity. Whoever wins this nomination, we need to show up at the polls, we need to vote for them, and we need to make sure they win no matter what, because what's going on in this country is not right. With the immigration and immigrants being targeted, they're being rounded up like animals. It's not acceptable to allow this to go
Based, if true. Unfortunately not true, but based if true.
on in our streets. And then with the trans community, like, we're being dehumanized. They say that we want to hurt.
Oh, you're trans? Sorry, bro. I couldn't even tell. Like, if you cut out the fact that this thing attempts to name itself Ashley, like, if you cut his hair, it just looks like a dude. And the floral shirt's a little gay. But I mean, you're just a gay dude. You're just a retarded dude.
Hurt people. I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to use the bathroom. And if they want me to use the men's room, I will, but I don't want to be assaulted.
Ain't nobody assaulting that, bro. Okay, you ain't got to worry about that from no one. Not a single human in existence wants a piece of that. Sorry to break it to you, bro, but you're not exactly a high value target now, are you? I don't want to get I'm sorry, ma'am. I would like to not get assaulted in the men's bathroom because of my feminine persona, as you can see here. All 6'5" of me. I'm really afraid when I'm in the bathroom that other men are just gonna rape me because of how rapey men are. You know how men can be. Men are so awful, so evil. Not like me. I'd want to be around little girls where I feel safe.
And as far as like this, what happened in Biddeford, it's unacceptable. We knew since January that what ICE has been doing with Alex and Renee.
All right, let's move on to the question.
Look at him. He's like hunched over. He's like not even standing up straight. And he's like 3 or 4 inches taller than everybody else on stage. Dude, no one is assaulting you. No one wants to assault you. Nobody really even wants to see you for the most part, right? I mean, you are a little grotesque, some would say, right? I wouldn't, but some uncouth individuals on the internet would surely call you disgusting, gross, and abnormal. But yeah, I'm afraid of getting assaulted in the men's bathroom. I'm 6'5" and 300 pounds, and I'm just really afraid of being around men. Well, what if one of them tries to rape me in the bathroom? Because I'm a woman, can't you tell? The guy next to him is smelling him. Democratic Party 2026. We got Jewish lady, Cox, and Gorlock.
Questions? Let's start with how well you are known or not known to the voters. I think it's fair to say that there are varying degrees of recognition you have, but for certainly 2 of you candidates, 99% of people in Maine had never heard of you 48 hours ago, maybe 6 or 7 minutes ago. So let me start with you, Lizzie Dickerson.
Sure.
What qualifications do you have to serve in what is not an entry-level? What is an entry-level job? What is an extremely important job in the United States?
Well,
I don't care about Lizzie Dickerson, which is, again, that's a very Jewish name. Look at that. Ew. Gremlin. We've got gremlins. We've got other gremlins. We've got we got to listen to more of the monster, though. I'm sorry. The monster will continue until morale improves.
Experience, which is sorely lacking. Ashley Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's pretty transparent. It's not very passing, if you know what I mean. Dude, this guy has music and books. What's this guy's name again?
Lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get lied to, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE, pretending like these victims did something wrong. Like, that's unacceptable. And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
David Costello.
You, angry woman or angry man around a school of children, I would be very scared. In fact, I would think you would almost be dangerous to those people around you. Let's see here. Here we go. So Ashley Webb is a candidate seeking Democratic nomination for Maine U.S. Senate seat. The race was opened after Graham Plattner withdrew. Yeah. Can I find your books, though? I want to find your books and your music, because I find that way funnier, personally. All right, let's see. Ugh. Oh, my gosh. You couldn't have picked a better photo. Jeez. Ashley Webb, take no prisoners. Tranny school shooter vibe much? Take no prisoners. All right, buddy. Is run the way I've run every fight in my life, independently, transparently, and without waiting for permission from people who've never had to navigate the systems I have. Listen, I hope nobody has to navigate your systems. Know what I'm saying, dog? Know what I'm saying? As an openly trans and intersex woman. All right. But listen, can I find, oh, look at that. What are these? Can I find your books, though? I want to see your books. That's what I'm interested in. Where are your books at? Where's your music? Do you have, where can I find this stuff? Meet Ashley Webb from the Gateway Pundit. Here we go. Maybe there's something on here. Yeah, no, I don't want to watch that. Take no prisoners. Yep, we got that. Shoot. Gosh dang it. I just want to like find more info on you. You're just so interesting. Not really. Democrat Maine. I'm just typing music. Maybe I can find something here. Oh no. Oh. No way. I'm trying to find it. Sorry. Okay, so actually somebody else did the same thing I did, but there is no evidence of a YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, any of that. Yeah, nope. Apparently other people cannot find any links to any of their stuff. Oh, other than this. Oh no.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to me.
See, but now I'm just kind of melancholy and sad because I look at this older man in the depths of despair and depravity and just isolated and alone, whatever he may have done to put himself in this situation. And I feel pity, right? I feel like this is sad. Like this man needs salvation. This man needs redemption more than anything. And he's wallowing in despair and sadness. And the people around him are pushing him into this, celebrating it. And I just see the most unhappy, decrepit. It's like looking at Gollum, you know? The one thing he wants the most is the thing that's utterly destroying him. And you kind of pity the creature. Tolkien, way ahead of his time. It's tragic. It's very tragic. Well, that was less fun of an ending than I had wanted, but fair enough. That is the way the cookie crumbles. Amorite Boy for 2 says Glock 19, great value, 400 bones on Mr. GNG email tonight. Oh yeah, if you're signed up for the Mr. Guns and Gear email, 400 bones for a Gen 5 Glock 19, pretty good deal. 500 bones, good price. 400 bones. Zanico for 2 says, John, do you have that one book, My Struggle? Listen, we all struggle together, but I don't know what book you're talking about. Crazy. Thank you, Zanico. Zany for another 2 says Bradley got her. Bradley got another one down for the bad guys. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate that. Central Sands Defense for 2 says, and this is who you trust your kids' safety with. Yeah, the RSO defending your kids, being the school resource safety officer. She was taking care of business, okay? Not protecting kids. She was taking someone else's kids, if you know what I'm saying. Thank you, Central Sands Defense. Zanico for 2 says his book, Back to School Diabetes. No joke. No way. Back to School Diabetes. And then we pull up a video of him eating a cupcake, which is very tranny coded and just overall sad. Very sad. All right, guys. I think that was it. I think we're all caught up on everything. I really appreciate everybody hanging out on a Friday night. Lots of fun news. Thank you for all the gifts in the chat as well. I wasn't paying attention to the actual YouTube chat, but I see Andy Uamo, B Kings, everybody else in there throwing in coins, whatever those happen to mean, muddying up the chat, but I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And let me make sure we're all caught up over here on Ko-Fi. Paul Brungat for $13 becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep. Are they just allowing you to put in any number on Ko-Fi? $13. That's a weird amount. It's just some Space Cowboy for 7. Are you guys just making up numbers now? 7's not a real number. Thank you, Space Cowboy. And then Conquistador, which is a very funny name, becomes a Ko-Fi caffeine creep for $5. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Good, sir. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. I hope you had a wonderful night tonight, but maybe we should try and end on a little bit more of a helpful note or a happier note, at least. Well, I don't know if this will be happier, but I think that we all have a duty to get out there and get after it this week. I had a phone call today with my father. My father had his 78th birthday today, so I called him, wished him happy birthday, him and the family that's still out there in Washington State, going to get together, grill some steaks, doing all that sort of stuff. But, you know, family's getting older. Family's very important. So as my father, who is an old man now, 78 years old, of course, there is a time in your life where you need to get a little more serious, where you need to start preparing for the future, right? Because I will be an old man someday. I have children now, and they will be old men calling me as I'm a very old man, should I be blessed to reach that age. So something that I've been thinking about a lot is what to do for the future, what to actually do to help people to do something that is meaningful, impactful, brings value to your own life, but more importantly, to those people around you, right? And part of that is the whole concept of remembering death, memento mori. Death comes for us all. We have a limited time here. So I'm 30 years old now. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm an old man. I'm barely functioning, barely holding it together. You know, I got old man knees and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. Got to get out there. Got to get after it. So, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder to, one, to spend time with those that you love while they're with us, to use the time that you have wisely. Doesn't mean you can't have fun, doesn't mean you can't do things, have hobbies or whatnot, but there is a limited amount of time for us here on this earth, and you should use it wisely. Be good stewards of the time that you have, and continue to move forward. Continue to work on yourself, work on your family, work on your country and your people, right? Because your people need you. We do cover a lot of the dark stories here. We cover a lot of the evil in the world, and just covering it isn't enough, right? Just bringing light to the situation isn't enough. At some point, we do actually have to oppose it, whether that's physically, whether that's just through our actions, through our creations, whatever it might be. But we do actually have to counteract the evil in the world and bring us to a lighter day. And that will be a struggle for all of us. Not my struggle, but our struggle, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So I do want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out, for watching us on this Friday night. I got one from Cody here, dropping the 3 crosses for $20. Mega based of you, Cody. Greatly appreciate that. I got to find you. Here we go. Taser face. That's a good one.
I did want me taser.
Gee, Patrick, do you think Squidward was trying to tell us something?
Thank you very much, Cody. That is very, very based of you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had a good stream. I hope you all have something wonderful to do tomorrow. I've got a competition tomorrow, lots of other fun stuff, but get out there, get after it, have some fun, spend some time with family, tell people in your life that you love them. With all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Godspeed. God bless. Christ.
Mossad, we're occupied by
Zog.